Chapter 806, Little Girl, you made me suffer so much. The bloodthirsty sword shark did not expect Yunchujio to use such a wicked method. Yunchujio's silhouette could not be seen in the dark water. Yunchujio was not idle at this time. She waved several purple lightning bolts to restrain the bloodthirsty sword shark while desperately searching for something that could be stained in her storage ring. She only had this one bottle of ink. This was because Di Biming often asked her to write a self-reflection letter and a guarantee letter. Usually, she would use a charcoal pen. If she had known this would happen, she would definitely have prepared a few vats of ink. Yunchujio was extremely anxious. Fortunately, Furry took out a few bottles and jars from the Great Void Mystic Realm. Master, these are the ones that I prepared to dye, glue, and knit sweaters. You can use them first. I'll continue to produce black liquid for you now. Yunchujio was overjoyed. She quickly sprinkled a few more bottles of dye before the black ink dissipated. The seawater instantly turned into a sea of colorful colors. The bloodthirsty sword shark was furious. Humans were cunning and always liked to play sinister tricks. It was really detestable. It could only spray the water arrows randomly. It did not dare to get too close to the dying areas, afraid that Yunchujio's little lightning would sneak up on it. Yunchujio relied on Fui's dye to delay for another hour. However, Fui's movements were not that fast, so it was impossible to produce so much dye. Yunchujio was once again exposed to the bloodthirsty sword shark's sight. The bloodthirsty sword shark smugly shot hundreds of water arrows at Yunchujio. You little weakling, let's see what else you can do this time. Yunchujio had no other choice but to use offense as a defense. She summoned 5 immortal swords and commanded them to attack the bloodthirsty sword shark. Although the 3 immortal swords were reluctant, they could not resist. They could only brace themselves and thrust at the bloodthirsty sword shark. Seeing that Yunchujio was commanding 5 flying swords at the same time, the bloodthirsty sword shark could not help but be a little surprised. It knew that the 5 swords weren't low-grade, so it did not dare to just ignore them. While dodging, it shot out water arrows, hoping to block them. Attacking sea creatures was different from attacking barriers. Yunchujio was already at the limit of her soul's consciousness when commanding 5 flying swords at the same time. Not only did these 5 flying swords have to attack the bloodthirsty sword shark, but they also had to dodge the water arrows shot out by the bloodthirsty sword shark, thus, it was very taxing on her soul's consciousness. Yunchujio relied on the 5 immortal swords to fight with the bloodthirsty sword shark for another 15 minutes. Gradually, her soul's consciousness could not resist it, so she had no choice but to take back the 5 immortal swords. At that time, Furry took out another bottle of dye. Yunchujio hurriedly sprinkled it in the water, and only then was she able to catch her breath for a moment. Yunchujio's brain was operating at a rapid speed. It was likely that the outcome between Big Bastard and the other bloodthirsty sword shark would not be decided within a short period of time. Right now, whether it was spiritual power or spiritual sense, she was close to being overdrawn. If she did not think of another way, she was afraid that she would be finished. Before Yunchujio could think of any other way, the bloodthirsty sword shark had actually quietly rushed to the nearby area. With a fierce breath, Yunchujio's body could not help but be sucked into the bloodthirsty sword shark's mouth. The turtle and the other bloodthirsty sword shark were also fighting nearby. When it suddenly saw that Yunchujio was swallowed by the bloodthirsty sword shark, it was so scared that its heart trembled. It was finished. The little girl was eaten. Fuck. How could this be? Was this little girl not very awesome? How could she be swallowed? Even if she died, it would still be finished. It was not a match for these 2 bloodthirsty sword sharks. Little girl, you tricked me so hard. If I knew that you were so useless, I would have thought of a way to escape. Why would I fight head-on with them? Chapter 807, A ship arrives. Just as the giant tsunami turtle was feeling vexed, it saw the bloodthirsty sword shark rolling violently, as if it was in extreme pain. The giant tsunami turtle was dumbfounded. Damn! Could it be that the little girl's meat was poisonous, and the bloodthirsty sword shark's stomach is upset after eating it? The bloodthirsty sword shark opened its mouth wide, as if it wanted to spit something out, but it had no effect. Instead, fresh blood flowed out, dyeing the seawater red. The giant tsunami turtle was delighted. Damn! Could it be that little girl's doing? Did she run into the bloodthirsty sword shark's stomach and terrorize it? At that moment, Yun Chujio was holding a large kitchen knife and hacking at the bloodthirsty sword shark's mouth. Just now, at the moment when she was sucked into the shark's mouth, Yun Chujio used sticky threads to fix herself on the bloodthirsty sword shark's upper jaw. She also made the rolling pin grow longer to keep the bloodthirsty sword shark's mouth open, as she did not want to suffocate to death. Yun Chujio realized that she was moving too slow with the kitchen knife, so she ordered the 5 immortal swords to stab at the shark's upper jaw. It was much easier than commanding it to fight the enemy. "I'll stab you. I'll stab you. Stab. Stab. You still want to eat me? I'll kill you." Yun Chujio commanded the 5 immortal swords to stab at the shark's upper jaw, and she shot out several purple lightning bolts. Those purple lightning bolts rushed toward the shark's abdomen. The bloodthirsty sword shark was really unlucky. Being stabbed in the upper jaw was only a physical pain, but those small lightning bolts had taken its life. Those small lightning bolts struck toward the bloodthirsty sword shark's internal organs. No matter how strong the bloodthirsty sword shark was, it could not stand being struck by the lightning bolts, and it kept rolling violently. The other bloodthirsty sword shark wanted to go over to help when it saw this, but the turtle blocked it with a roar. It seemed that the little girl had succeeded. It could not let her look down on it. It had to kill this bloodthirsty sword shark. An hour later, the bloodthirsty sword shark that had swallowed Yun Chujio was dead. Yun Chujio then slowly swam out of the mouth of the bloodthirsty sword shark. She put the body of the bloodthirsty sword shark into her storage ring and then helped the giant tsunami turtle to deal with the other bloodthirsty sword shark. The bloodthirsty sword shark was no match for the giant tsunami turtle. When it saw that its companion was dead, it became even more flustered. In less than 15 minutes, it was bitten to death by the giant tsunami turtle. The giant tsunami turtle swallowed the inner core of the bloodthirsty sword shark and then cried a few times at Yun Chujio in a fawning manner. Yun Chujio, the foodie, immediately understood what the giant tsunami turtle meant. "Master Godly Turtle, do you want me to help you collect the corpse of the bloodthirsty sword shark and take it out when you want to eat it?" The giant tsunami turtle nodded vigorously. Damn, this little girl was really smart. That was exactly what it meant. Seeing the giant tsunami turtle nod, Yun Chujio put the body of the bloodthirsty sword shark into her storage ring. Then, she and the turtle emerged from the water. After such a fierce battle, the man and the turtle had more trust in each other, so the rest of the journey was particularly smooth. Yun Chujio sat on the back of the turtle and saw a big ship from afar. She was pleasantly surprised. After such a long time, she finally saw a human. "Master Godly Turtle, let's part ways here. Keep these blood coagulation pills. I'll come and play with you again when I have the chance," Yun Chujio said as she took out several bottles of blood coagulation pills and threw them at the giant tsunami turtle. Although the giant tsunami turtle was a little reluctant to part with them, when it thought about how it could continue to live as an overlord from now on, it immediately pushed the reluctance to the back of its mind, dove into the sea and left. Chapter 808, I Know How to Cook, Damn It. It is indeed a heartless bastard. It left just like that. Yun Chujio, who had fallen into the sea, muttered as she swam toward the direction of the big ship. Yun Chujio estimated that the distance was close enough, only then did she emerge from the water. She waved her arms and shouted, "Help! Help!" The big ship soon arrived in front of Yun Chujio. A rope was thrown down from the ship. Yun Chujio grabbed the rope and was dragged onto the big ship. Thank you. Thank you. I will never forget the kindness of saving my life. After Yun Chujio was dragged onto the ship, she bowed and thanked everyone. Ha! Kid, you don't have to be so polite. After all, there are conditions for us to save you, a sinister voice said. Yun Chujio was busy thanking them just now and did not carefully examine the people on the ship. When she heard someone say this, she could not help but raise her head and see dozens of people standing in front of her. The person who was talking to her was a middle-aged man in a black attire. The lower left corner of the suit was embroidered with a striking white fish bone. Yun Chujio had a bad premonition. She heard that in the endless sea, other than the dangerous sea creatures, there were also some pirates who specialized in robbing cultivators who collected waterproof beads. Could it be that she had encountered pirates? Fuck. If that was really the case, she would be in trouble. Even if she could escape, how could she reach the shore now that big bastard was gone? Yun Chujio said in a cowardly manner, "Savior, what do you mean by that? I don't quite understand." The middle-aged man laughed wildly. "You don't understand? You really are a little bastard. We're from the Fishbone Gang, and we specialize in killing people and stealing treasures. We saved you for the storage bag on your body. Your corpse can also be used as bait to fish for some sea creatures. Isn't that killing two birds with one stone? Ha ha ha." Yun Chujio pretended to be afraid and started trembling. However, her eyes swept across everyone's strength. Those who were able to become pirates in the endless sea were not weak. Most of these people were above the 5th level of the spirit cultivator realm. There were also 5 people at the level of the spirit emperor. Yun Chujio estimated that if they were on land, she and Little Black could fight with them together. However, they were on the ship now, and it was their territory. It was better to be safe. Should she jump into the sea? If she jumped into the sea, they would definitely not be able to catch her again. However, without the big bastard, it would be difficult for her to reach the shore. She might as well take the ship and leave a few people alive so that they could send her to the shore. Yes, that was the plan. Leader. To be honest, the reason why I fell into the sea was because I was robbed. Now, I have nothing on me. However, I am also a 5th level spirit cultivator. If you don't mind, take me as your subordinate. I don't have any other skills, but my cooking skills are still very good. Yun Chujio said while trembling. The middle-aged man sized up Yun Chujio and thought to himself that this little bastard was so scared that he was trembling, so he was probably not lying. All right. I'll give you a chance. Prepare lunch for me immediately. If I'm satisfied with the food, I'll keep you. If not, I'll kill you immediately to be bait. Yun Chujio nodded excitedly. I'll definitely cook well. I'll definitely make sure you're satisfied with your meal. Bring him to the kitchen. Keep an eye on him. If he tries to trick you, just kill him. Yes. Yun Chujio was brought to the kitchen by 2 pirates. The kitchen was a mess. Apparently, these pirates only needed to fill their stomachs and did not bother cooking at all. Yun Chujio had a slight chance of winning. Although her culinary skills were average, it was more than enough to deal with these pirates. As long as she put in some effort, she did not have to worry about not being able to stay. Chapter 809, The Target of the Robbery. In less than 2 hours, Yun Chujio not only prepared a few exquisite side dishes for the pirate leader, but she also prepared the meals for the pirates. Little brat, your hands and feet are quite agile. I just don't know whether this tastes good. The pirate leader saw that the dishes looked good and developed some appetite. After eating, the leader of the pirates and the other pirates were very satisfied. In the past, when they ate at sea, they would always just mix ingredients together. It was already good if they cooked it. They did not care about the taste at all. Therefore, even if Yun Chujio's cooking skills were not particularly good, in their eyes, it was very good. Not bad. Since you have this skill, I'll accept you. What did you say your name was? Shirling. It's too difficult to pronounce. I'll call you Little Stone from now on. Learn from me well, and the things you'll learn will be irreplaceable. If I find out that you've tampered with the food, I'll chop you into minced meat, the pirate leader said fiercely. Thank you, sect leader. Thank you, sect leader. I'll definitely be loyal to you. If I lie, I'll be struck by lightning. Yun Chujio swore without any guilt. These pirates did not know that the person in front of them was a repeat offender of being struck by lightning. Once they heard her swear, their wariness was lowered a little. However, every time Yun Chujio cooked, there would be 1 or 2 pirates watching from the side to prevent her from pulling anything. Yun Chujio had a sweet mouth and knew how to cause trouble. In less than 3 days, she had gotten familiar with the people on the ship and inadvertently figured out most of the things that she needed to know. Pirates were rampant in the endless sea. There were dozens of forces of all sizes. The Fishbone Gang could be considered famous among them, and they were doing quite well. There was a small city called Wanghai City on the beach of the Endless Sea. There was a trading firm called Yongxing Trading Company, which specialized in the trade of waterproof beads and sea creatures. This Yongxing Trading Company not only bought all kinds of sea goods, but also went out to sea regularly to hunt and collect waterproof beads. This time, the Fishbone Gang came for the ships of the Yongxing Trading Company. In fact, the pirates were not willing to offend the Yongxing Trading Company. After all, their strength was not weak. However, the Fishbone Gang was forced to take a risk this time. For some unknown reason, the small island where the Fishbone Gang was located actually sank to the bottom of the sea. This group of pirates had no home to return to. It was not easy for them to find a small island that was unoccupied, but to build houses and fortifications, they needed spirit stones. Robbing those small merchant ships was simply a drop in the bucket, so they could only set their sights on the Yongxing Trading Company. Yun Chujia's heart stirred. This was an opportunity. When the time came, she would make a move and help the Yongxing Trading Company capture this group of pirates. When the time came, she could take the Yongxing Trading Company's cargo ship to Wanghai City. After Yun Chujio made up her mind, she became a chef. Every day, she would chat with those pirates. She was like a fish in water. After getting familiar with them, Yun Chujio realized that these pirates were actually not that bad. Sometimes, when they met some fishermen's fishing boats, they did not rob them. Occasionally, they would be kind and help them out. Uncle Wang, I realized that our Fishbone Gang is not quite the same as the pirates in my impression, Yun Chujio said to a short and fat man. Fatty Wang used to be a part-time cook on the boat. Naturally, the responsibility of monitoring Yun Chujio fell on him. When he heard Yun Chujio say this, he was stunned and sighed. Don't judge our leader as a fierce person. In fact, he's not a bad person. I heard that our ancestors also relied on collecting waterproof beads for a living, so we rarely rob fishermen. Yun Chujia's mouth twitched in her heart. Forget it. A bullshit person is not a bad person. Back then, he even wanted to use her as bait. Chapter 8:10, Return to Crab Island. Little Stone, do you still hate the fact that the gang leader wanted to kill you back then to be bait? Sigh. This so-called precaution must be taken. It's not easy to muddle along in this endless sea. If we don't scare you, who knows if you're a traitor from some faction. I wouldn't say anything about which pirate gang is better than the other. However, our Fishbone Gang never massacred fishermen indiscriminately, much less plundering women like other pirates. We basically have no other way to live, so we choose to be pirates. Who would be willing to float on the sea all day doing this kind of life-risking business? Uncle Wang, I'm a foreigner, so I don't know much about the endless sea. Didn't you say that waterproof beads are very valuable? Your spiritual power is not low, so why don't you just collect the waterproof beads and sell them? Yun Chujio asked in confusion. Humph. The waterproof beads might be very expensive to sell, but the business of purchasing the waterproof beads was monopolized by the Yongqing Trading Company. They didn't allow fishermen to sell them to others. They bought them at a very low price and then sold them to earn a lot of money. Those fishermen couldn't earn much money even if they worked hard. If they found out that any fisherman was trading with outsiders, they would immediately kill their entire family and say that they're pirates. That Yongqing Trading Company is even crueler than us. Fatty Wang said angrily. Yun Chujio was skeptical after hearing that. Why was this endless sea different from other places? Pirates were even kinder than merchants. If Yongqing Trading Company was really like what Fatty Wang said, then her plan had to be changed. She could not help the devil. Uncle Wang, where is the Yongqing Trading Company's ship? We haven't seen any trace of them here, have we? Yun Chujio asked curiously. I heard that the place they are going to is not far from Crab Island. Let's set up an ambush nearby and then ambush them. Crab Island? There's such an island. Could it be that the island is shaped like a crab? Yun Chujio could not help but feel a little dumbfounded. Crab Island? Fuck. It can't be that island full of coconut trees that I left back then, right? Ha. Your imagination is pretty good, kid. There are huge coconut trees growing on Crab Island. The giant pincer crab likes to eat ripe coconut fruits. At night, it will go ashore to search for food, so it's called Crab Island. When Yun Chujio heard that, she was stunned. It was not easy for her to ride the big bastard and leave the so-called Crab Island. Now, she was going back again. In the next few days, the pirate ship was indeed heading toward the small island that was covered with coconut trees. Although Yun Chujio was so depressed that she wanted to vomit blood, she could only follow them back to where she came from. After interacting with her for the past few days, the members of the Fishbone Gang had basically let down their guard against Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio realized that other than a few of them who were extremely lazy, there were really no evil people among them. It seemed that they were only reacting according to the circumstances. If that Yongqing Trading Company was not a good company, then she could help the Fishbone Gang. A few days later, the Fishbone Gang's ship arrived near Crab Island. Since they knew the dangers of Crab Island, they did not go on the island. Instead, they waited nearby for the arrival of the Yongqing Trading Company's ship. Gang leader, I heard that the Yongqing Trading Company is going to the sea area ahead. It is said that there are very few giant sea clams that produce waterproof beads, and there are also very few high-level sea creatures. What are they going there for? A pirate asked the Fishbone Gang's gang leader in confusion. Do whatever you want. Let's just rob them. I heard that the people who came this time are all the thugs of the Yongqing Trading Company. They must have a lot of spirit stones on them. Anyway, they're not good people. Just kill them, the leader of the Fishbone Gang said coldly. Chapter 811, Hidden Secrets. The Fishbone Gang's big ship docked at the back of Crab Island. During the day, they sent a few pirates to investigate Crab Island. At night, the big ship sailed to the surface of the sea and carefully looked out for any news of Yongqing Trading Company activity. When it was almost noon that day, a few pirates excitedly returned. Boss, the Yongqing Trading Company's merchant ship is heading to the sea ahead. The Fishbone Gang leader sneered. Good. The trap is set and the fish has taken the bait. Everyone, rest well. Well, set off after dark. After dinner, when the sky gradually darkened, the Fishbone Gang's large ship set off. The expressions on the faces of everyone in the Fishbone Gang were very conflicted. There was an anticipation for the potential spoils of war mixed with anxiety of the unknown. The guards of the Yongqing Trading Company were not pushovers. Their spirit energy was not low, especially when those commanders were all at the level of a spirit emperor. However, they did not know how many people had traveled on the ship this time. It would be fine if there were fewer people, but if there were more people, then the odds were against them. When it was almost midnight, everyone saw the cargo ship of the Yongqing Trading Company in the distance. The ship was brightly lit, and people were constantly diving in the nearby waters. "Boss, could it be that they are collecting waterproof beads? Didn't they say that there are no waterproof beads in this area?" One of the pirates looked at the divers and asked in puzzlement. "Could it be that they are looking for your treasure? Boss, could there be some treasure buried here?" A pirate said excitedly. Yu Hai, the leader of the fishbone gang, rubbed his chin, then said in a low voice, "Lower your voice. What you said made sense. There were very few demon beasts in this area, and there were no sea clams. The Yongqing Trading Company might really be looking for some treasure here. Let's wait and see if they find anything. No one is to make a sound or light up any lamps." Yun Chujia's little heart was beating non-stop. The place where the Yongqing Trading Company's ship stopped was precisely the place where she had escaped from the enchantment. Why would the people of the Yongqing Trading Company be looking for something there? Could it be a coincidence? That's right, the place where she was trapped would not have set up an enchantment for no reason. There must be some secret hidden in there, and it was connected to the ancient sword tomb. It must be something big. Yun Chujio poked her head out, her eyes shining as she stared at the Yongqing Trading Company's ship. If those people were really looking for something under the barrier, perhaps she could follow the clues and find the culprit behind the abnormality in the ancient sword tomb. 4 hours later, they heard cheers coming from the Yongqing Trading Company's ship. Because they were afraid of being discovered, the fishbone gang's ship was anchored far away, so they did not see what they had fished out from the bottom of the sea. Yu Hai, the leader of the fishbone gang, waved his hand. "Go. Let's catch them off guard." Following Yu Hai's command, the large ship rushed toward the Yongqing Trading Company's ship. The people of the Yongqing Trading Company quickly noticed the fishbone gang's ship approaching. They were clearly well trained and immediately went into battle mode. "Yo! Isn't that great leader Yu Hai? Why, have you thought it through? Do you want to join our Yongqing Trading Company?" Shan Yanghu said with a fake smile. Yu Hai sneered, "Join the Yongqing Trading Company? Humph. Your reputation isn't as good as that of us pirates. I don't want to be stabbed in the back and work like a dog for others." Yu Hai, don't be so shameless. Our boss only loves you because you're talented. That's why he has invited you over and over again. Otherwise, do you really think that you're that special? Since you're not here to join us, it means you're here to find trouble. With so few people with you, you actually dare to plot against the Yongqing Trading Company? You're sailing to your death. Shan Yanghu said savagely. Chapter 8:12, Ship Collision. Yun Chujio swept a glance at the people on the Yongqing Trading Company's ship. She counted almost twice as many people as the fishbone gang. There were 10 people of the Spirit Emperor realm, and that goatee had actually reached the 4th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Taking advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention, she stealthily dived into the water. Everyone was fixated on the Yongqing Trading Company ship. No one noticed that she had sneaked away. The members of the fishbone gang had not expected so many people aboard the Yongqing Trading Company ship. 10 commanders had accompanied the ship, and they were somewhat hesitant to attack. Yu Hai also had the intention to retreat upon seeing what they were up against. He sneered and said, "See Tuji, we are only passing by. Farewell." Upon saying that, Yu Hai waved his hand, indicating for the fishbone gang's ship to leave immediately. "You're leaving? Just stay since you're already here. Everyone, this is no small matter. Not a single one should be spared. Kill them all," ordered Si Tuji. He was originally jealous of Yu Hai's talent, so he naturally would not let go of this opportunity to exterminate the fishbone gang. Following Si Tuzi's words, the people of Yongxing Trading Company jumped onto the Fishbone Gang's ship one after another and surrounded everyone on the deck. Si Tuzi laughed wildly, "You Hai, you're done for. Originally, our boss wanted to let you live a little longer, but who would have thought that today, you actually took the initiative to deliver yourself to our door. Si Tuzi, let them go. I agree to join Yongxing Trading Company." At that moment, Yu Hai regretted his decisions. He never expected that there would actually be so many people protecting the Yongxing Trading Company ship. Humph. You think too highly of yourself. It's too late. None of you are leaving alive. Kill them all. After Si Tuji finished speaking, he took the lead and struck Yu Hai with his palm. After Yu Hai dodged, the two of them fought. The members of the Fishbone Gang naturally would not sit still and wait for their deaths. They drew their weapons and engaged in a chaotic battle with the people from the Yongxing Trading Company. There was a huge difference in the number of people on both sides. Very quickly, the members of the Fishbone Gang fell into a disadvantageous position. Yu Hai's body was also covered in wounds. Si Tuji laughed out loud, "From today onwards, the Fishbone Gang will be wiped out. All of you, die." Just as Si Tuji was feeling pleased with himself, a guard shouted in panic, "Commander! The ship! Our ship!" Si Tuji raised his head and saw the huge ship of the Yongxing Trading Company quickly colliding with the Fishbone Gang's ship. Although the Fishbone Gang's ship was also very big, it was still much smaller than the Yongxing Trading Company's ship. Under the violent collision, the Fishbone Gang's ship began to shake violently. They could no longer stand up properly, much less continue fighting. Si Tuji was furious. "Stop! Zhao Wu, are you fucking crazy?" The Zhao Wu that Si Tuji scolded was the person driving the Yongxing Trading Company's large ship. At this moment, Zhao Wu was in a difficult situation that prevented him from speaking. Yun Chujia's large kitchen knife was pressed against his neck. He did not dare to disobey. It turned out that after Yun Chujio dove into the water, she saw that most of the people from the Yongxing Trading Company had already boarded the Fishbone Gang's ship. She then quietly boarded the Yongxing Trading Company's ship. After she quickly took care of the few guards left behind, he found the cockpit and used her knife to force Zhao Wu to ram the ship into the Fishbone Gang's ship. Before Si Tuzi's voice faded, the Fishbone Gang's ship was knocked over, and the people on the deck fell into the water one after another. Although the people of the Yongxing Trading Company had high spiritual power, their fighting strength in the water was greatly reduced. On the contrary, the people of the Fishbone Gang had spent most of their time in the sea, which made up for the disadvantage of having fewer people. Si Tuji felt that he would lose the advantage with his current situation, so he had to get back on board the boat first. Thus, he gestured to the people of the Yongxing Trading Company to quickly get out of the water with him. Chapter 8:13. This did not make sense. Yun Chujio saw that the Fishbone Gang's ship had capsized, so she ordered Zhao Wu to quickly leave the ship. Zhao Wu did not dare to disobey, so he had no choice but to do as she said. "What did you find at the bottom of the sea?" Yun Chujio asked Zhao Wu as she observed the situation in the sea through the telescope. "It's just a sheepskin scroll. Young hero, I'll tell you everything you want to know." "Please don't kill me," Zhao Wu said in a trembling voice. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and took out a pill from her storage ring. She stuffed it into the man's mouth. "This is my secret poison. Only I have the antidote. If you don't take the antidote within 3 days, your whole body will fester and die." Zhao Wu repeatedly promised, "Young hero, I'll listen to you. What else do you want to know?" "I'll tell you everything. Who has the sheepskin scroll? Is it with that goateed man?" "Yes. That's our commander-in-chief. He kept the sheepskin scroll in his storage ring." "How did you know that there was a sheepskin scroll here? How did you find it?" "Young hero, I'm only a merchant ship driver. I don't know what happened exactly. It was only after we arrived here that the commander-in-chief took out a jade pendant. After forming a seal, we found out that there was a barrier here. We sent people to the bottom of the sea to search for it. Later on, someone found the sheepskin scroll there. Yun Chujia's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that if she wanted to know more, she had to grab hold of the goateed man. Yun Chujio suddenly raised her hand and knocked Zhao Wu unconscious on the ground. Then, she dived into the sea. In the distance, people from the Yongqing Trading Company had already swam over. Si Tuji was swimming at the front. When he saw Yun Chujio, he was stunned. When he thought of his own trading ship ramming the pirates, he immediately suspected that Yun Chujio was a member of the Fishbone Gang. He raised his hand and shot out several wind blades. The speed of the wind blades was much slower in the water than on land. Yun Chujio easily dodged the wind blades. Then, she raised her hand and shot out a small bolt of purple lightning toward Si Tuji. Si Tuji was stunned. What was this thing? Lightning? Why was it still purple? Was it a heavenly lightning spirit root? Wait, why was it so slow? Si Tuji did not take the small purple lightning seriously at all. He thought to himself, at such a slow speed, he would be able to dodge it once it got closer. Thus, he did not dodge immediately. Instead, he sent out a few more wind blades towards Yun Chujio. After Yun Chujio dodged the blades, she sent out a few more purple lightning bolts. She saw that there were people from the Yongqing Trading Company swimming over in front of her, and she also sent out a few purple lightning bolts towards them. Those people were the same as Si Tuji. They felt that although those purple lightning bolts were rare, their speed was so slow that they had no power at all. They curled their lips in disdain, and one after another, they shot wind blades and water arrows at Yun Chujio. Ever since Yun Chujio fought the bloodthirsty sword shark, she felt that these wind blades and water arrows were like child's play, and she easily dodged them. Si Tuji and the others were very surprised. This kid's spiritual power seemed to be only at the 5th level of the spirit cultivator realm. Why was he so agile in the water? Just as Si Tuji was shocked, he suddenly noticed that the purple lightning suddenly sped up and rushed toward him. Fear suddenly enveloped Si Tuji. Why did the lightning suddenly accelerate? He quickly dodged the bolt again. What happened next surprised him even more. Those purple lightning bolts actually changed directions. They rushed towards him again. Si Tuji thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. How was this possible? How could these lightning bolts change direction? This doesn't make sense. Chapter 8:14, An ace up their sleeve. Si Tuji was stunned for a moment. Then, he quickly sent out a few wind blades to block the purple lightning. The purple lightning was consumed by the wind blades before it dissipated. Although it did not hurt him, Si Tuji was still shocked by what happened. This kid was too strange. He had never seen or heard of a spiritual power attack that could change directions while in the water. The people of the Yongqing Trading Company arrived one after another. Si Tuji gestured to them to surround and attack Yun Chujio. Countless water arrows and wind blades shot towards Yun Chujio. She calmly sank into the water and dodged the attack. At the same time, she raised her hand, and the surrounding seawater turned black. Ever since she had fought with the bloodthirsty sword shark, she gave a new task to Furry, which was to make various dyes. The people of the Yongqing Trading Company had never seen a person like Yun Chujio who did not play by the rules. They were dumbfounded by her actions. The seawater in front of them was pitch black, and everyone was blinded. However, the lightning could still track its targets. After a few moments, several people from the Yongqing Trading Company let out miserable cries. They ended up swallowing their waterproofing beads so they could only paddle as hard as they could to reach the surface before drowning. They no longer had the time to go after Yun Chujio. Seeing this, Si Tuji quickly gestured for everyone to get on the boat. It was really disadvantageous for them in the water. Yun Chujio would not give them a chance to get on the boat. She waved her hands repeatedly, and several little lightning bolts chased after them. The people from the Yongxing Trading Company had no choice but to use wind blades and water arrows to dissolve the lightning bolts. This slowed them down considerably. However, they had the advantage in numbers, and there were more of their people swimming over one. Fortunately, the people of the Fishbone Gang had also caught up. Although they were all injured, they were much more agile in the water than the people of the Yongxing Trading Company. Moreover, they had almost died at the hands of the people of the Yongxing Trading Company, so they naturally would be eager to repay the favor. Si Tuji and the 4 Spirit Emperor rank guard commanders surrounded Yun Chujio. As long as they took down this little brat first, the rest of the people had nothing to be afraid of. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. She waved her hand and sent out several bolts of purple lightning. At the same time, she summoned 5 immortal swords and commanded them to attack the 5 of them. These 5 immortal swords had already accepted their fate. This brat was a shameless liar. She said that she would cancel the contract after she left the ancient sword tomb. However, it had been so long. Not only did she not cancel the contract, but she was also ordering us around. She was too shameless. However, they were dissatisfied and did not dare to resist. The moment they showed any signs of resistance, they would be scratched by the little silver dragon. They were on the verge of breaking down. Si Tuji and the others were also on the verge of breaking down. Fuck. Who was this little brat? This was too strange. Not only was his spiritual power attack able to change directions, but he could also command 5 spiritual weapons at the same time. He was too scary. If they had known that the Fishbone Gang had such an ace up their sleeve, they would have gotten off their high horse and let them leave. It was too late to regret now. An hour later, Yun Chujio and the Fishbone Gang began to gain the upper hand. The people of the Yongxing Trading Company gradually lost. As Si Tuji was heavily injured by Yun Chujio, the rest of his crew began to lose their fighting spirit and expressed their willingness to surrender. Yun Chujio asked Yu Hai to lead people to imprison the spirit energy of the people of the Yongxing Trading Company and drag them to the large ship of the Yongxing Trading Company. After everyone boarded the large ship of the Yongxing Trading Company, Yun Chujio asked Fatty Wang to go to the cockpit to wake up Zhao Wu and return to the ship. Chapter 8:15 The Red Spider Lily reappears. Yun Chujio took out a pill to stop the bleeding and fed it to Si Tuji. Then, she took out a chair from her storage ring and sat down with a swagger. The members of the Fishbone Gang looked at Yun Chujio with a dumbfounded expression. They never expected that it was this young man who saved them in the end. Yu Hai cupped his fists at Yun Chujio and said, "Young hero, I have failed to recognize the talent in our midst. I hope you will forgive me for offending you in the past." Yun Chujio waved her hand and said, "Those who don't know better will not be blamed. Moreover, you even saved me on the boat. Considering that, we are even now. I will leave these people to you. Their belongings will also be yours to take. However, I will handle Si Tuji." Yu Hai hastily agreed. He was already very satisfied with being able to keep his life, but now, he was very happy his crew was given the additional loot. Yun Chujio got someone to wake Si Tuji up with a splash of seawater. Then, she crossed her legs and asked, "Do you want to hand over the sheepskin scroll yourself, or do you want me to search for it myself after I kill you?" At that moment, Si Tuji had no way of asking for help, so he did not want to cause any trouble. He obediently handed over the sheepskin scroll in his storage ring. Yun Chujio opened it and took a look. This was a map. There was a cinnabar mark in one spot, but it did not indicate exactly where it was. She frowned. "What's the use of this map? How do you know how to break the enchantment? And who asked you to look for what was in this map?" "Young hero, I'm just following my orders." The boss gave me a jade token and the method to form a seal, so I brought people here to find what was on the map. I don't know anything else. Tuji was very honest and spilled everything to avoid angering Yunchujio. Give me the jade token and show me the hand gesture to form the seal. Tuji demonstrated the hand gesture and then handed a jade token to Yunchujio. After Yunchujio memorized the hand gesture for the seal, when she saw the jade token that Tuji handed over, she was shocked. On the back of this jade token, there was a pattern of the red spider lily. Another jade token depicting the red spider lily. Last time, I searched for the map in the Chimeric Plains. This time, it appeared in the Endless Sea while I was also searching for a map. Could this be related to the Eye of the Earth? Fortunately, I managed to obtain the map by accident. If it really was the Eye of the Earth's map, then it would be really bad. It seemed that the Yongxing Trading Company's owner was also related to the Red Spider Lily faction. It was just that she didn't know whether he was someone important or just a pawn. How many guards does your Yongxing Trading Company have other than you? How strong are they? What is the cultivation level of your owner? Yunchujio thought for a moment and asked Tuji. Because of this mission's importance, most of our guards came along. There are less than 30 people left in the trading company. Among them, there are 5 spirit emperors and the rest are all spirit cultivators. Our owner is at the 5th level of the spirit emperor realm. Yunchujia's heart skipped a beat. A person at the 5th level of the spirit emperor realm could be someone who played a significant role in all this. She hoped that she could find some useful clues. Yunchujio had nothing more to ask, so she looked at Tuji with a smile. You are very cooperative. To repay you, I will give you a quick death. Before Tuji could react, Yunchujio raised her saber and slashed down, killing Tuji on the spot. Neither the Fishbone Gang nor the people of the Yongxing Trading Company had expected Yunchujia's actions. This kid's personality was too ruthless. The reason why Yunchujio did this was partly to create an example, and partly to intimidate the Fishbone Gang so that they would not even consider betraying her. Chapter 8:16 I am the most honest person. Yunchujio put away Tuzi's storage ring, then kicked his body into the sea. Leader Yu, what do you plan to do with the rest of these people? When the people from Yongxing Trading Company heard Yunchujia's words, they almost fainted from fear. This little devil wouldn't want to kill us too, right? Spare us. Chief Yu, spare us. Young hero, spare us. We are all just trying to earn money to support our families. We are only taking money from others to help them solve their problems. We don't have any personal grudges against you. Spare us. Yu Hai pondered for a moment. Young hero, there are a few people here who have committed all kinds of evil. I have already killed them. Although the remaining people have done some immoral things, they are still just doing their job as mercenaries. It's better to forget about it. Yunchujio looked at him with a faint smile. Being soft-hearted is a strength, but it is also a fatal weakness. Can you guarantee that they will not become your enemies in the future? Those people from the Yongxing Trading Company wished they could sew Yunchujia's mouth shut. Damn! You little pervert, must you be so insistent on killing us? Young hero. Chief Yu. I swear that if I, Zhao Wu, attempt to take revenge on the Fishbone Gang and the young hero in the future, my soul will be scattered to the void and I will never be reincarnated. Young hero, I also swear. If I, Wanan, take revenge on you and the Fishbone Gang in the future, I will be struck to death by lightning. I also swear on my life. When Yunchujio saw that these people had all made harsh vows, so she smiled and said, Why are you all so nervous? I was just speaking casually. I am the most honest person here, don't be afraid. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. You. Honest? Stop joking. The lightning you threw at us was already not normal, how could you be? If we believe that, then pigs would fly. Zhao Wu knelt and crawled a few steps. Young hero, I have done everything you asked me to do. Can you reward me with the antidote? Yun Chuzhou glanced at him. She took out a pill from her storage ring and tossed it to him. Eat it and you'll be fine. I always keep my word. If I say I won't kill you, I won't kill you. However, isn't this the same as betraying the Yongxing Trading Company? Aren't you afraid of their reprisal? Also, sect leader your fishbone gang has become enemies with the Yongxing Trading Company. What do you plan to do next? Yun Chuzhou was a wicked person. Naturally, she would not let the owner of the Yongxing Trading Company off. However, she was alone, and having a guide would be helpful. She had the intention to ask the fishbone gang to help her. However, it would be too embarrassing to ask them for help, so it would be best if they brought it up themselves. As expected, after a discussion with the other fishbone gang members, Yu Hai said, Young hero, since the remaining members of the Yongxing Trading Company are as strong as us, we have decided to go after them. I also heard that you also wanted to find the owner of the Yongxing Trading Company. Why don't we join forces and fight as one? Yun Chuzhou looked at the guards of the Yongxing Trading Company non-committally. What about you guys? What are your plans? The guards who were quick-witted immediately understood Yun Chuzhi's intentions and immediately said, We are willing to help the young hero and chief you destroy the Yongxing Trading Company. The rest of them also echoed the same sentiment when they saw this. They hoped that the Yongxing Trading Company would be destroyed so that they would not suffer any reprisal from the company for their betrayal. The owner's methods were very vicious, and if they were caught by him, it would be the end of them. Only then did Yun Chuzhou slowly say, All right, since all of you insisted, then I will reluctantly cooperate with all of you. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. What an amazing actor. This was your plan all along. Chapter 8:17, Wait for me. Yun Chuzhou examined the current group of people. A few members of the fishbone gang had been killed or injured, and the rest of the Yongxing Trading Company were all guards at the level of spiritual masters. The commanders committed all kinds of evil deeds, so they were all killed by Yu Hai. The abilities of those here were on par with the rest of the people in the Yongxing Trading Company. However, it was not her style to use knives and guns openly. It would be best if she could complete the task without anyone knowing. That would be considered more elegant. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes and came up with a plan. She babbled about her plan to everyone. While everyone nodded their heads repeatedly, they swore in their hearts that they would not offend this kid no matter what. This kid was full of evil intentions, his heart was made up of pure darkness. Half a month later, Yun Chuzhou finally saw the long coastline. She was so happy that she almost jumped up. Damn, it had been more than 2 months, and they had finally left the sea. At this time, everyone on the ship had changed into the clothes of the Yongxing Trading Company. However, some of them still wore straw hats. However, when fishermen went out to sea, they also dressed like this for protection against the sun and wind, therefore, some of the onlookers did not feel that something was wrong. After Yun Chuzhou got off the ship, the first thing she did was to secretly take out a voice transmission talisman. Sure enough, it could be used. She excitedly said with her spiritual sense, Prince Charming, am now in Wanghai City near the Endless Sea. Wait for my return. I love you. Moi. Di Baiming had been waiting at the spot near the ancient sword tomb. Although he firmly believed that nothing would happen to Yun Chuzhou, as time passed, the worry and self-doubt in his heart gradually grew. He could only continue to cultivate to temporarily distract himself. When he felt the sound transmission talisman in his storage ring tremble, he thought that he had hallucinated. He took out the sound transmission talisman as his hands trembled and sent his divine sense into it. The moment he heard Yun Chuzhi's voice, tears began to flow. Little Jiu, she was not dead. He knew that little Jiu would be fine. Shui Wuji and Di Baiming had guarded the spot while waiting for Yun Chujia's return. Seeing Di Baiming suddenly like that, he grabbed Di Baiming's neck collar and shouted, "Is there any news about little sister Jo? Tell me quickly. Where is she now?" In the past 4 months, the first thing Shui Wuji did when he opened his eyes was to scold Di Baiming. If he did not scold Di Baiming for a day, he would feel that something was missing. Di Baiming's heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. He did not refute and allowed Shui Wuji to scold him as much as he wanted. Although Di Baiming did not like Shui Wuji as usual, he saw that Shui Wuji cared about Yun Chujio as much as he did. He could only say, "Little Jiu said that she is in Wanghai City of the Endless Sea." The Endless Sea? Wanghai City? Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Let's go and pick up little Jiu. Little Jiu is so good looking. She's just a weak girl. Others might mistreat her. Without waiting for Di Baiming to react, Shui Wuji had already summoned his flying spirit tool in a hurry and flew away. Anfeng was relieved when he heard that Yun Chujio was fine. However, he did not agree with Shui Wuji when he said that she was a weak girl and that she would be bullied. The ninth miss was full of cunning and wit. How could others bully her? If anything, it would be better if she did not end up bullying others. Di Baiming held the voice transmission talisman and did not know what to say. In the end, he only said 3 words, "Wait for me." When Yun Chujio received Di Baiming's voice transmission talisman, she could not help but twitch her lips. This tsundere was as proud as ever. Does he not know how to say something more romantic? I'm going to teach him a lesson when we meet. Chapter 8:18. We are all on the same side. Yun Chujio followed the people of the Yongxing Trading Company and swaggered into the back hall of the Yongxing Trading Company. Although there were several guards guarding the back hall, they were fooled by Yun Chujio and the people of the Fishbone Gang due to the disguises they wore. Under the guidance of one of the guards, Yun Chujio found the study room where the owner of the Yongxing Trading Company was. Yun Chujio knocked on the door politely and imitated Si Tuzi's voice, "Owner, your subordinate is back. Come in. How's the matter I sent you to take care of?" A low voice said. Yun Chujio pushed the door open and sauntered into the room. She saw an old man sitting behind the desk. He looked like a dog. "Who are you? Why are you wearing our company attire?" The old man looked at Yun Chujio suspiciously and then shouted. Yun Chujio took off her hat and said with a smile, "We were fated to meet each other. We are both working for powers beyond our own. Our meeting was inevitable." The old man was stunned and then sneered, "I have no idea what you are talking about. You broke into my study. Now die." The old man was about to make his move when Yun Chujio shouted, "The red spider lilies. The eye of earth." The old man was stunned. He looked at Yun Chujio suspiciously. "What do you mean? How do you know those names?" "Big brother, you're too cautious. Other than our own people, who else knows about this?" To be honest, I had already obtained a sheepskin scroll map some time ago. Unfortunately, it wasn't requested by the higher-ups. That was why I came to the Endless Sea. I didn't expect to meet people from your Yongxing Trading Company also going after the same thing. I did not know that we had the same goals. Only after killing Si Tuji and after seeing the jade token in his storage ring did I realize that I had made a mistake. Brother, it's not my fault for not knowing. You won't blame me, right? Yun Chujio sat on the chair beside her and crossed her legs as she said indifferently. What? You killed Si Tuji? Where is the thing that he found? The old man clearly cared more about the objective than the fate of his subordinates. Big brother, why are you in such a hurry? I won't steal your limelight. We're all on the same side, do you have to be so vigilant against one of your own? The old man took a deep breath. This brat said that he has the same objective as me. Could it be that he's working for the same forces that I am? Big brother, let's not beat around the bush. I found a sheepskin scroll in a hidden cave, and I only found it because I was given a map from certain people with similar goals. This time, you were able to find the sheepskin scroll in the enchantment array at the bottom of the sea because the higher-ups in the shadows guided you, right? TSK, the higher-ups pay more attention to you than to me. They even taught you how to break the enchantment. At that time, I completely relied on the abilities of my companions to get past it, said Yun Chujio with a slightly mocking tone while she played with the jade token with the red spider lily in her hand. Hearing Yun Chujio's words, the old man lowered his guard a little. He said with some pride, the endless sea is not as dangerous as the mainland. Understandably, the higher-ups take better care of me. That's true. I admire you for being the overlord of this region in Wanghai City. At the time, the person who gave me the map was a man wearing a black mask. Judging from his level, he didn't seem to be someone very important. Could it be that the person who contacted you is much higher up the ladder? When the old man heard Yun Chujio's question, he became suspicious again. However, when he saw that Yun Chujio was very calm, he paused and said, I don't really know the rank of the emissary. However, he was wearing a silver mask. Chapter 819, The Faction Pulling the Strings, a Silver Mask. That must be of a higher rank than the black-masked man I met. It seems that the higher-ups value Big Brother much more than me. It makes me envious. The emissary would give me a bottle of pills every time. I wonder what other good things did he give to you other than pills? Yun Chujio asked with an envious look. Ever since the old man had joined that organization, no one had been told about this secret. It felt like if a person had made a fortune but had no one to show it off to. It would inevitably be uncomfortable to be the only one who knew of the secret for such a long time. Therefore, after he met Yun Chujio, although he was still wary of her, he was all too eager to share the joy in his heart. He then said with a slightly proud tone, 1 bottle. The envoy only gave you 1 bottle of pills. The envoy gave Big Brother at least 3 bottles of pills each time. To be honest, the reason why the Yongxing Trading Company's guards have such high spiritual power is that I mixed those pills with other types before giving it to them to consume. Yun Chujio's eyes revealed an envious expression. 3 bottles. Looks like I'll have to thank Big Brother for taking care of me in the future. Your future in the organization seems safe. The higher-ups only told me to look for the map and didn't arrange any other tasks for me. Since they seem to favor you, could it be that they also arranged other tasks for you? The old man said arrogantly, it's not really a task. But just to recruit talents. Recruit talents. Oh my God. Big Brother, does the organization want to establish a branch and let you be the leader? Yun Chujio stood up from her chair in surprise. The old man could not hide the pride on his face. The last time the emissary came, he showed the intention to establish one. Our endless sea is far away from the central continent. He said that it was time to raise a force that can stand shoulder to shoulder with the 4 great sects. Yun Chujio repeatedly cupped her fists. Congratulations. Congratulations. In that case, won't I have to address you as Lord Sect Leader in the future? Ha ha ha. It's still too early for little brother to say this. I wonder what plans little brother has in the future. When the old man thought of the plans for the future of the Yongxing Trading Company, his guard was almost completely lowered. In his opinion, how capable could this 5th-level spirit cultivator kid be? Even if he harbored evil intentions, he could not do much against him. Me? Sigh, to be honest, after I handed in the map last time, the emissary has not contacted me. I tried to send him a voice transmission talisman, but he ignored me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come to this endless sea to relax. Yun Chujio said with disappointment. Little brother, if that's the case, let me keep the jade token and map first. You can stay with me in the future. If Big Brother gets rich, I will treat you well. Yun Chujio handed the map and the jade token that she had scribbled onto the old man from her storage ring and said, "Brother, this map doesn't look like the eye of the earth. I'm afraid you'll have to continue searching." The old man took the map and looked at it. He didn't see any flaws. After keeping the map and the jade token, he said, "We're all just following orders. We will just hand it over to the emissary when the time comes." "Brother, to tell you the truth, ever since I ended up getting involved in this, I have been in a state of excitement all day. How do you think those higher-ups got so powerful? After eating the pill, one's spiritual power suddenly increases. And those maps, how did they find out about them? They are too powerful. The emissary once mentioned that the master is an incredible figure. Even the mighty figures of the Tianyuan continent are not a match for our master, much less so for those of the Azure Mystic continent." Chapter 820, Digging for Information. When Yun Chujio heard the old man's words, her heart skipped a beat. Even the mighty figures of the Tianyuan continent were not a match for that dog-shit master. Then who exactly was he? "Big Brother, let me tell you something from the bottom of my heart. You must not tell anyone else," Yun Chujio said mysteriously and also activated an isolation array. The old man was also interested. "Little brother, tell me everything. Don't worry. I will not tell anyone else. Big Brother, since you said that our master is so awesome that he could destroy the 4 great sects with a flick of his finger, why didn't he go and look for the eye of the earth himself? Why did he ask us to look for it?" Yun Chujio asked in puzzlement. The old man pondered for a moment and then said, "Well, perhaps our master is too busy. He should have more important things to do. As his subordinates, we should do our best. Big Brother, what you said makes some sense. I wonder when the Lord Emissary will come over. If you help introduce me to him, I will also climb up the ranks. Brother, if I make it big, I will not forget your kindness in helping me," Yun Chujio said in an obsequious manner. The old man's eyes flickered. "The emissary is in my residence. However, the emissary does not like to meet outsiders. I will put in a few good words for you." "I understand. I know there are some difficulties in dealing with this situation, Big Brother. If you don't want me to meet the emissary, then so be it. When the time comes, please put in a good word for me. The higher-ups think highly of Big Brother after all. The emissary I contacted always comes and goes in a hurry. This silver-masked emissary is willing to stay in your residence. It's a great honor. Did Big Brother arrange for him to stay in the guest house? He's not picky." The old man smiled mysteriously. "Little brother, that is because you're too young. Of course, you have to cater to his interests. To be honest, this silver-masked emissary has taken a fancy to a concubine of mine called Yin Hong. This woman is expendable to me, not to mention that she's only a concubine. Every time he visits, he'll let my Yin Hong accompany him. Naturally, he'll leave happy. He'll also put in a good word for me to the higher-ups. Brother, you're really willing to do whatever it takes. I admire you. I admire you." Yun Chujio cursed in her heart, "You old bastard, you're so smug even when you're treating your concubine this way. You're shameless." The old man laughed proudly. "Little brother, you're still young. You'll understand how complicated things can be between people in the future. Big Brother, I accidentally found something interesting at the bottom of the sea. Come here, I'll show you," Yun Chujio said mysteriously. The old man's eyes lit up, and he came over without any reservations. He did not expect Yun Chujio to suddenly raise her hand, and a big bag of chili noodles fell on the old man's body. Almost at the same time, Yun Chujio threw a bolt of lightning at the old man. It happened in a flash, and before the old man could react, his eyes were covered in chili noodles that were so hot that he couldn't open them. However, he had a defensive spirit tool on him, so Yunchujia's lightning did not harm the old man. Yunchujio released Little Black Bird and the others, and the four began to gang up on the old man who was rubbing his eyes. Although the old man's spiritual power was 2 levels higher than Yunchujia's combat strength could not be measured by common sense. Moreover, Little Black Bird and the other 2 silly munchkins were helping her. The old man was also temporarily blinded, and so 2 sides were evenly matched. Although Yunchujio had just activated the isolation array, she still felt that it was better to end the battle as soon as possible. Therefore, she decided to use her trump card. As she struck at the old man with lightning, she summoned 5 immortal swords and had them flung towards the old man. Chapter 821, Howl, Little Red. 5 immortal swords were summoned to fight. Even though they were unwilling to, they did not dare disobey Yunchujio. They could only vent their anger on the old man and stab him with all their might. What the fuck? We stayed in there peacefully and were content. If you did not provoke the little devil, we would have been left alone in peace. It's all your fault. We're going to stab you to death. The more the old man fought, the more frightened he became. Who was this brat? How did he become so powerful? Not only did he have the heavenly thunder root spirit, but those spiritual pets were also very difficult to deal with. The most important thing was how could he command 5 flying swords at the same time? His spiritual sense was too powerful. Brat! There is no enmity between us, why are doing this? As long as you stop, we can still talk. The old man was forced into a sorry state by the 5 immortal swords. He wanted to placate Yunchujio and then think of a way out of the situation. Yunchujio responded to him with a few bolts of lightning. What a joke. They already had a falling out. Moreover, I have already found out what I needed to know. What's the point of keeping you around? Howl, Little Red. Yunchujio suddenly shouted at the flaming 3-tailed fox king. The flaming 3-tailed fox king's mouth twitched violently. Although so much time had passed, it was still unable to accept the name Little Red. Moreover, what did she mean by howl? The full name was Celestial 9-tail Howl. How did such a powerful technique sound so boring after she said it? The flaming 3-tailed fox king ridiculed Yunchujio as it howled. The old man was already unable to withstand it. After being distracted by the enchanting roar, it was inevitable that he would reveal an opening. How could Yunchujio let go of such a good opportunity? A bolt of lightning struck the old man's right arm. The old man cried out in pain. Before he could recover, a flying sword was thrust towards his face. He hurriedly dodged, but he did not expect another flying sword to stab towards his abdomen. The old man dodged again, however, he was stabbed in the back by a sword hidden behind him. Immediately after, the other swords flew over and stabbed at the old man's vital parts. The old man gasped as he took in his last breath of air. Yunchujio put away the old man's storage ring and isolation array disc before she swaggered out of the study. At that moment, the Fishbone gang members had already subdued all the guards around the study. The remaining commanders of the Yongxing Trading Company were all stationed elsewhere, which saved them a lot of trouble. Yunchujio called over one of the subdued guards. Take me to the courtesan called Yin Hong. Leave half of your men behind. The rest of you, follow me. That guard had helped the concubine called Yin Hong before. He led the way while Yunchujio and the Fishbone gang followed him to a small courtyard. Yunchujio gestured to them to get in position around the courtyard. Then, she activated the concealment talisman and entered the courtyard. When everyone saw that Yunchujio had disappeared, they could not help but turn pale from fright. How did this person suddenly disappear? Could it be that he had a concealment talisman? Heavens, just who was this young man? There were too many unimaginable things happening to him. Even though Yun Chujio had already activated the concealment talisman, she was afraid that the silver-masked emissary's cultivation level might be higher than the 5th layer of the Spirit Emperor realm, so she still restrained her aura and carefully went to the window. "Beauty, come, drink with me again," a slightly hoarse voice said. "My lord, I can't drink anymore. If I drink more, I'll start feeling dizzy." The voice that replied was delicate. "That should be Yin Hong." "Dizzy? If you feel dizzy, we can go to bed," Yun Chujio pouted. That silver-masked emissary was shameless. She carefully made a small hole in the window paper and peeped inside. Chapter 822, The Silver-Masked Emissary. A man wearing a silver mask and a delicate woman were drinking wine. The man said that he was pouring her more wine, but in reality, he was lewdly touching the woman with an evil smile. Yun Chujio could not see through the man's spiritual power level. It should be higher than the 3rd level of the spiritual emperor realm, but since he did not notice her, she estimated that he was at most at the 5th level of the spiritual emperor realm. Yun Chujio felt more confident knowing that. Yun Chujio suddenly kicked open the door and threw a bolt of lightning at the silver-masked man. A light flashed on the silver-masked man's body and blocked Yun Chujio's attack. The silver-masked man immediately sobered up and shouted in fear, "Who is it?" Yun Chujio saw the confusion in the silver-masked man's eyes as they darted around. She was delighted. It seemed that he could not see her at all. This was easy to deal with. "I can't kill you yet." Yun Chujio took out a rolling pin and circled behind the silver-masked man. She hit the silver-masked man with the rolling pin. The silver-masked man felt the blow coming and knew it was too late for him to dodge. He simply pulled Yin Hong over and used her as a shield. Although Yun Chujio held back a little, Yin Hong's spiritual power was low, so how could she withstand the blow? She choked on her blood and died. The silver-masked man took advantage of the moment to jump towards the door. He wanted to escape, but he suddenly stumbled and almost fell to the ground. He wanted to rush out of the door again but heard the sound of wind coming from behind him again. He could only dodge and avoid Yun Chujio's attack. Yun Chujio waved her hand and threw another bolt of lightning at the silver-masked man. The silver-masked man was very passive. He could not see where Yun Chujio was at all. He could only rely on the fluctuations of spiritual power and sound to determine Yun Chujio's position. 15 minutes later, the man was hit on the knee by Yun Chujio's rolling pin. He collapsed on the ground with a scream. Yun Chujio only showed up after she had restrained his spiritual power. Then, she took off the silver-masked man's mask. His face was still plain and unremarkable. Yun Chujio not only complained in her heart but also thought to herself, why can't the other side's forces pick the handsome ones? Why did they always pick someone who looked ordinary? Just as the silver-masked man was about to take the poison and commit suicide, Yun Chujio sneered and pinched his chin to remove the poison. Then, she struck the back of his neck with her palm and dragged him out of the house. "You Hai, take some people with you to clean up the rest of the compound. Then, meet me in the study." "Yes." Yu Hai was now in awe of Yun Chujio from the bottom of his heart. He immediately led his men to clean up the remaining people still unaware of what happened. Yun Chujio dragged the silver-masked man to the back of the study and activated the isolation array. A basin of cold water was poured on the silver-masked man. "Do you want to remove the spiritual imprint of the storage ring yourself, or do you want me to forcibly remove it for you?" Yun Chujio sat on the chair with her legs crossed and asked. The silver-masked man sneered, "I'm warning you, you'd better release me immediately. Otherwise, it won't be just you but your family as well who will suffer the consequences." Yun Chujio laughed out loud, "What big words. You think you're capable of that? You're just a lecher. I think that old man was better than you are." At least he still dreamed of establishing a sect that is on the same level as the four great sects. Humph. Him. He's just a dog. Kid, if a silver-masked emissary dies, the higher-ups will find out immediately. By then, even if you run to the ends of the earth, they will still find you. The silver-masked man said arrogantly. TCH. Who are you lying to? You're making it sound like they are omniscient. It's not like they have clairvoyant powers. How would they know if you're dead? Yun Chujio asked disdainfully. However, her heart was moved. The forces behind the Red Spider Lily faction are very strange. They might have a way to do what he just said. I have to find out more about them. Chapter 823, Little Red continued to howl, clairvoyant. Our master's ability is much stronger than that of the clairvoyant. Not to mention the Azure Mystic Continent, even if you kill me in the Tianyuan continent, our master will know who killed me. Kid, are you scared? Let me go immediately and well forget everything. Otherwise, you'll be waiting to be exterminated, the silver-masked emissary sneered and said a few times. Wow, what you said is quite mysterious. However, you forgot one important thing. Only when I kill you can that dog-shit owner of yours discover who the murderer is. What if I don't kill you? I'll torture you slowly. I'll make you wish you were dead instead of alive. I usually don't have any hobbies. I just like to research how to torture people. I've already developed 81 ways to torture people. Do you want to hear them? For example, I can cut a small cut on your body and run salt water through it. Or I can smear honey on your wound and let the stone-eating ants relieve your boredom. Or I can castrate you and make you a eunuch forever. As Yunchujio spoke, the man's face became paler and paler. This kid was young and his methods were too vicious. If he fell into his hands, he might as well bite his tongue and commit suicide. The silver-masked emissary wanted to bite his tongue and commit suicide at the thought of this when Yunchujio said leisurely from the side, "Do you want to bite your tongue and commit suicide?" I've done my research. The so-called biting your tongue and committing suicide is all a hoax. Basically, you won't die. You'll only become a mute who can't speak. Why don't you give it a try? Anyway, I have good hemostatic pills here. I guarantee that you'll suffer. The silver-masked emissary was so angry that he was twitching. This pervert actually had the time to research such a problem. He snorted coldly and said, "Sooner or later, the Azure Mystic Continent and the Tianyuan continent will belong to our master. If you're sensible, then let me go. Otherwise," before the silver-masked emissary finished his words, Yun Chujio took out a handful of powder from her storage ring and sprinkled it on the man's knee. The man immediately screamed like a pig being slaughtered. "You stinky brat, what did you sprinkle on me?" "TSK TSK. I was just afraid that your wound would get infected, so I sprinkled some salt on it for you." "I'm such a kind person," Yun Chujio said with a smile. The silver-masked emissary was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He wished that he could strangle Yun Chujio to death. "You're kind. If you were kind, there would be no evil people in this world. Even if I were to compete with you, I would be 100 times kinder than you. You have seen it yourself. I have plenty of ways to torture you. Do you think that I can't do anything if you don't remove your spiritual sense imprint? It would be over for you once we find someone with a stronger spiritual sense than you. At that time, your spiritual sense will also be finished." Yun Chujio said faintly. The silver-masked emissary was dead. He could not die or escape. He could only surrender and remove the spiritual sense imprint on his storage ring. Yun Chujio immediately used her spiritual sense to search inside. Inside, there was only a jade token, a voice transmission talisman, and several bottles of pills. Yun Chujio frowned. It seemed that she still had to interrogate this silver-masked emissary. How do you know the method to remove the enchantment in the endless sea? And how do you know that there is a map there? Yun Chujio stared at the silver-masked emissary's eyes. Humph. Of course, the higher-ups informed me. Otherwise, how would I know? The man saw Yun Chujio holding a handful of chili noodles, so he had to answer her question. Yun Chujio saw that the man was very stubborn, so she was afraid that he would not answer the question truthfully. She rolled her eyes. Little Red, come out and continue howling. Chapter 824, The Temple of the Gods. The flaming three-tailed fox king was released, and he roared aggrievedly. Yun Chujio took out a pendant from her storage ring and waved it in front of the silver-masked emissary. Hypnotism was originally not very effective on cultivators with strong spiritual sense, but the silver-masked emissary was seriously injured and in a panic. Coupled with the seductive voice of the flaming three-tailed fox king, the silver-masked emissary's eyes gradually drifted up. What's your name? Ren Lizzie. What's the name of your faction? The Godly Devil Hall. Yun Chujio frowned. The Godly Devil Hall. What a strange name. Was it God or a devil? Who is your superior? How does he contact you? I don't know who he is either. Every time we meet, he always wears a golden mask. We can contact him with a voice transmission talisman. How many more silver-masked subordinates does he have like you? About a few dozen. I'm not too sure either. It's just that I've seen other silver-masked men when I entered the organization and swore fealty to my lord. Where did you swear fealty to? I was drugged when I got on the flying spirit tool, and I was also drugged when I came back, so I don't know where exactly I went. It took me nearly 2 months to travel back and forth. Yun Chujio frowned. This red spider lily forces were rather cautious in their actions, to actually be on guard against even the silver-masked emissary. It was really mysterious. Yun Chujio continued to ask, who is the master you swore allegiance to? What does he look like? The master is a god, the god of all of us. He is the one and only god in the world. The corners of Yun Chujio's eyes twitched violently. This silver-masked emissary was clearly brainwashed. That so-called master was really shameless. He was actually more narcissistic than her. Seeing that the silver-masked emissary was still praising the master with infatuation, Yun Chujio could only interrupt him. What is the mission that the boss has given you? Find the map and urge Tianqing Trading Company to gather talents and quickly rise up. Only then did the silver-masked emissary end his praise of the master. Where are the rest of the silver-masked men distributed? What missions do they have? I don't know. How often does the golden-masked man meet you? Sometimes a year, and sometimes 2 years. I'm not sure. If I run out of pills, hell send them to me. What's the cultivation level of the golden-masked man? I'm not sure. He should be at the 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. He's very powerful. 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm? Yun Chujio originally planned to have the silver-masked emissary invite that golden-masked man to the Yongxing Trading Company. It seemed like her plan was going to be cancelled. The 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm was no joke. It would be considered one of the best cultivation bases in the Azure Mystic continent. Her cultivation base was not enough to defeat the man. Even if she were to go against him, she would not be able to defeat him. On top of that, she would inadvertently alert her enemy. What else do you know about the organization? Tell me everything. The silver-masked emissary rambled on, and Yun Chujio was very disappointed. Everything he said was basically what she knew, and it was of no value. However, the man continued, when Lord Goldface gave me the map and the jade token, he told me that I could have killed half of the cultivators in Azure Mystic Continent with the help of the ancient sword tomb, but out of nowhere, a stinky girl named Yun Chujio appeared. Because of her, all the cultivators escaped, but that stinky girl was trapped in the ancient sword tomb. She really deserved it. Yun Chujia's heart skipped a beat. The ancient sword tomb was indeed the handiwork of the Red Spider Lily forces. However, how did they manage to control the ancient sword tomb's array formation? Could it be that they had found the core of the ancient sword tomb's array formation? Moreover, they knew of the ancient array formation. Chapter 825, Blind her titanium snobbish eyes. The man continued, but it doesn't matter. Lord Goldface said that there will soon be a good opportunity to weaken the powers of the various factions in the Azure Mystic Continent. When that time comes, it will be our chance to move from behind the scenes to the front. When that time comes, we will find the eye of the earth. Ha ha ha. Our master will bring us to become gods and leave this lowly realm. What opportunity? Lord Goldface did not say, but Lord Goldface said that it will be here soon. Yun Chujio was shocked. It seemed that she had to tell Master Shenyuan and the others this news as soon as possible. Otherwise, if what the silver-masked emissary said was true, something big would definitely happen to the Azure Mystic Continent. Seeing that she could not get any other useful information, Yun Chujio took out a blood coagulation pill and 2 sleeping pills and stuffed them into the man's mouth. Yun Chujio took out 2 more voice transmission talismans and briefly told Di Biming about the information she had obtained from the silver-masked emissary. She asked him to think of a way to pass the information to Master Shenyuan. A moment later, the voice transmission talisman began to tremble. Little Jiu, I've already told my subordinates to inform Master Shenyuan of the news. Don't stay in Wanghai City anymore, just in case the Golden Masked Man takes revenge on you. Return to Spirit Radiant Sect today and we will meet halfway. After Yun Chujio replied to Di Biming, she then withdrew the isolation array. Young hero, the people in front have been subdued. Now, the Yongxing Trading Company is under our control. Yu Hai and his men had already ended the battle. Yun Chujio nodded. There might be some things that you guys don't know. In short, the power behind this silver-masked emissary is very large. If you guys are afraid of taking revenge, split the assets of the Yongxing Trading Company and then think of your own ways out. Everyone immediately began to discuss. However, from their point of view, as long as there were spirit stones, it would be fine. It would be the same no matter where they went. At most, they could just had to plan further ahead. Yun Chujio continued, the matter of the distribution of assets will be handled by Yu Hai. You guys finish discussing as soon as possible and divide it before dawn tomorrow. I'll leave after you guys are done dividing it. Everyone agreed and quickly got busy. It was easy to talk about spirit stones, but it would be troublesome to divide some physical objects. Fortunately, Yu Hai was a straightforward person and did not care too much about it. He cut the Gordian knot and dealt with all the assets before dawn. Seeing that the assets had been divided, Yun Chujio planned to leave Wanghai City. Unexpectedly, Yu Hai and a dozen others knelt on the ground and said, "Young hero, we are willing to follow you in the future. Please accept us." Yu Hai and those people had already discussed in private that if they found a place to live in seclusion, they would end up like this for the rest of their lives. Although their spiritual power was not bad, there was no hope for them to ascend. Moreover, it was really cowardly to live like this for the rest of their lives. Although this Shiling was not old, he hid his abilities well and was also a righteous person. Back in the Endless Sea, he could have simply left without caring about them. However, he had saved their lives. After he killed the owner of the Yongxing Trading Company, he could also completely leave without caring about whether or not they would suffer revenge. However, he had considered things very carefully for them. If they were to join him, he would definitely not mistreat them. Moreover, he would lead them to do something great. Yun Chujio did not expect Yu Hai and the others to do such a thing. She touched her nose and said, "Everyone, thank you for your kindness. However, I will be going forth alone now. I'm afraid that I will only hamper your future. Young hero, if you had not saved us, would we be able to even talk about our future? Please accept us and let us do our best for you. Yun Chujio saw the sincerity in everyone's words and could only nod. Alright, since that's the case, then you guys can leave with me. This fellow secretly thought that it was not bad to accept them. In the future, she would also create a sect or something. That old witch had always despised her family background. When that time came, she would definitely blind her titanium snobbery. Chapter 826, Thunder Sect. In order to express their sincerity, Yu Hai and the others all swore an oath of loyalty to Yun Chujio. Although Yun Chujio said that she did not need it, she did not actually do anything to stop them. It was good that they swore an oath, at least she could be at ease. After the matter was almost settled, Yun Chujio got everyone to board their flying spirit tools and set off to return to the Spirit Radiance sect. This fellow leaned back on the recliner and secretly thought, it's good to have subordinates. Someone's piloting the flying spirit tool, and someone else is in charge of guarding it. I'm just in charge of reading a book. How satisfying. This fellow rubbed her chin. She had to give her future faction a good name that was unbridled, cool, and overbearing. What name would be good? The Gigolo's name was the Hall of Longevity, the Black-Headed Chicken was the Demon Blood Sect, and the Spider Lily Forces were called the Godly Devil Hall. There were also the Spirit Radiance Sect, Skyblade Sect, Heavenly Gate Sect, and Bixiao Palace. She had to give them a good name that was different from theirs. The Little Jiu Sect. It did not sound good. The Heavenly Thunder Sect. It did not sound good either. Got it. Her sect was called the Thunder Sect. Ha ha ha. This name was great. The Thunder Sect. The Thunder Ancestor. Damn that old bastard Heavenly Lightning, I told you to always strike me with lightning, so it'll be your superior from now on. Little Black and the other two looked at each other. The Thunder Sect. Damn it, only their black-hearted master could come up with such a name. When Yu Hai and the others heard Yun Chujia's demonic laughter, they could not help but shiver. What bad ideas did their master hatch this time? Why did this laughter sound so scary? Yu Hai. Come here for a moment, I have something to tell you. Master. You called me. Yu Hai felt uneasy in his heart. Why did the little devil summon me? Don't call me master in the future. Call me sect master, understand? From now on, our faction will be called the Thunder Sect. Wait until I find an auspicious land, then our Thunder Sect will officially open for business. Yu Hai was confused when he heard this. Thunder Sect. Although it was not very unique, it made sense. However, what did this open for business mean? Sect master, what does this open for business mean? Of course it means to make money. Otherwise, how are we going to develop our sect? We have to base ourselves on business. With money, we can attract more cultivators. With money, we can buy spiritual weapons. With money, we can develop and grow. In short, we have to make money first. Sect master, then what business do we do? Of course, money has to come quickly. Medicinal pills. We have to open a medicine shop first. Sect master, this medicine shop may be a good business idea, but we have to have a full-time alchemist. Without someone making the medicinal pills, this business will not be easy to do, Yu Hai said with a frown. TSK. What alchemist do you need? I, alone, am enough. Yun Chujio raised her neck and said smugly. The corner of Yu Hai's eyes twitched. Was their master talking nonsense? What did he mean by it's enough to have him? Can the medicinal pills refined by you be sold in even a single shop? That's right. Our medicine shop needs to take the high-end route. We only sell high-grade and superior-grade medicinal pills. We don't sell ordinary medicinal pills. We must be high-end and high-class. We must scam the money of those fools. Do you understand? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and said. The corner of Yu Hai's eyes twitched again. Why did he feel that they were going to set up an illicit shop? Forget it. They were pirates after all, so it would be easy for them to set up such a shop. Moreover, high-grade elixirs could be bought at a high price. These super-grade elixirs could only be found by chance, not by request. Where could they get them? Yun Chujio saw the suspicious look on Yu Hai's face and did not explain. When the time came, he would naturally find out if this sect master was just speaking nonsense or not. Forget it. You will understand in the future. First, pass on the spirit of our conversation to them. Yun Chujio leaned back on the recliner, picked up the book, and started reading. Yu Hai nodded. Just as he was about to leave, he glanced at the cover of the book in Yun Chujio's hand and fell on his butt. Chapter 827, Our Sect Master is a Good Man, My 81 Male Pets. Oh my God! I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. Our sect master is actually a queer man. Yu Hai inexplicably felt a little cold. Could this be considered as a sheep entering the tiger's mouth? They were all serious men. They were male and liked women. They did not like this type of thing. The sect master had so many bad ideas. He would not rape them in the future, would he? Fuck. What thunder sect? Would they not become a harmonious and happy sect in the future? Yu Hai trembled as he glanced at the stack of books on the table next to him. Handsome husbands sitting in a row, my 3,000 beautiful male harem, all the beautiful husbands. Yu Hai was 100% sure that his sect master liked men. When Yun Chujio saw that Yu Hai had fallen for no reason, she smiled and said, Yu Hai, what's wrong? Is this matter so difficult to accept? Take your time to digest it. You will understand. Yu Hai answered vaguely. He got up and ran back to the cockpit. He thought to himself, take your time to digest it. Even if he was given 500 years, he would not be able to accept it. He was straight. Yun Chujio frowned slightly. Was it not just opening a medicine shop? Was there a need to be so excited? He was probably too excited after hearing her plan. His mental endurance was too poor. Yes, that must be the case. Yu Hai returned to the cockpit with a pale face. The rest of the people asked in confusion, Boss, what happened to you? What did the master say to you? No, nothing much. Master said that from now on, our faction will be called Thunder Sect. From now on, we will call him Sect Master. We will start with a medicine shop business first, Yu Hai said absent-mindedly. Thunder Sect. Why does this name sound strange? What's so strange about it? Isn't our sect master a heavenly thunder root spirit? It's just right for our sect to be called Thunder Sect. What you said makes sense. But is it reliable to open a medicine shop? Doesn't a medicine shop have to have a regular alchemist working together? Alchemists are all very arrogant. Where can we contact an alchemist? That's right, boss. What did the sect master say? Yu Hai was stunned for a moment and said absent-mindedly, Sect master said that he can handle it by himself. What? Sect master said that he can handle it by himself? Could it be that the sect master is an alchemist? Even if the sect master is an alchemist, it's not enough. It's impossible for a person to run a medicine shop. Boss, don't you think so? Boss? What's wrong with you? Why are you so distracted? Did the sect master say something else? Yu Hai gritted his teeth and said in a low voice, Brothers, I've discovered something incredible. You must resist it. Boss, what's the matter? Those few people were so scared that their hearts trembled. Boss had always been a tough man who did not change his expression even under tremendous pressure. What on earth had scared him to this extent? Sect master, he's so manly. Yu Hai squeezed out a few words from between his teeth. What? Everyone instantly exploded. With a delicate and pretty face instantly crossed his hands and covered his chest. No, it can't be. I'm the most handsome among us. Sect master won't let me serve him in bed, right? Tui. Are you shameless? How do you know that sect master likes someone like you? Perhaps the sect master likes someone like our leader who is strong and powerful. Don't you see that sect master always looks for our leader to discuss everything? It's obvious that he has a good impression of our leader. Yu Hai's face turned even paler. If the sect master really wanted him to obey him, what should he do? Back then, he had made a poison vow. No matter what the sect master said, he had to do it. Otherwise, his soul would disintegrate. Yu Hai's heart was on the verge of collapse. Oh God, who could save him? Chapter 828. I am actually very gentle. In the next few days, Yun Chujio realized that every time she called Yu Hai in, he would find all sorts of excuses to avoid it. Moreover, when he did go in, he looked like he was in a daze and even trembled slightly. Yu Hai, don't be afraid. I'm actually very gentle. I will definitely treat all of you well. Could it be that my aura was too strong so they were all afraid? Yun Chujio thought secretly. Yu Hai glanced at the cover of the book that Yun Chujio held in her hand and trembled even more. Sect master. If there's nothing else, I will take my leave. Yun Chujio waved her hand and wondered in her heart. Yu Hai was very charismatic in the past, but why did he become so timid? Is my aura really that strong? This fellow shook her head and picked up the script that was placed at the side to read. On the cover, it was shockingly written, 108 husbands who were plundered by force. Yu Hai staggered back and collapsed on the chair. It was over. Was the sect master going to use force on him? Boss, what happened to you? Boss, could it be that the sect master has made it clear to you about it? What did you say? Boss, although the sect master has saved our lives, a man has things he can and can't do. You should resist no matter what. Yu Hai had a look of despair on his face. It was the first time in his many years of life that he had encountered such a troublesome problem. He did not want to disobey the sect master's orders, but he also did not want to lose his chastity. Oh God, quickly save him. Boss. Something's wrong. Those two flying spirit tools have been following us. Could they be coming for us? The handsome young man shouted loudly. Yu Hai jumped up from his chair and ran to the observation window to take a look. As expected, there were two flying spirit tools following closely behind. Could they be passing by? Slow down and see if they overtake us, Yu Hai said with a frown. Unexpectedly, when they slowed down, the two flying spirit tools behind them also slowed down. They increased their speed, and the ones behind them also increased their speed. Yu Hai knew that he had run into trouble, so he could not care less about that mess now. He quickly went into the inner room and said, Sect Master, there are two flying spirit tools following us from behind. Yun Chujio was stunned and quickly went to the observation window to check. The two flying spirit tools at the back did not have any signs or flags on it, and were about the same size as Yun Chujio's flying spirit tool. They followed closely behind them. Sect Master, I've tried to slow down or speed up. They've been following closely behind us. They must be coming for us, Yu Hai said from the side. Yun Chujio frowned. I'm afraid they're just following us and are probably waiting for reinforcements. Let's speed up and try to get rid of them. If their reinforcements arrive, we'll be in trouble. Yun Chujio decided to fly the flying spirit tool herself. Although the two flying spirit tools behind her also increased their speed, they were still a distance behind. Just as Yun Chujio was about to heave a sigh of relief, she did not expect that two more flying spirit tools would appear in front of her. One of them actually crashed into Yun Chujio's flying spirit tool. Yu Hai and the others cried out in shock. Yun Chujio suddenly lowered the flying spirit tool and dodged the impending collision, steering it under the other flying spirit tool. Not long after she flew out, another two flying spirit tools appeared in front of her. Their purpose was very clear, to block the way of Yun Chujio and the others. Yun Chujio tried to rush over several times but failed. At that moment, the four flying spirit tools behind her also caught up. They surrounded Yun Chujio's flying spirit tool in the middle. Chapter 829, Illusionary Electric Eel. After the six flying spirit tools surrounded Yun Chujio's flying spirit tools in the middle, they began to attack with their spirit energy through the porthole. Although the flying spirit tools had a certain degree of defensive ability, they would not be able to last for long. Yun Chujio saw the reflected shadows from the porthole. Those people were wearing silver masks just like Ren Lizzie. She was shocked. They were people from the Godly Devil Hall. They were very well informed. Yu Hai, pass me the topographic map of this area. After Yun Chujio took the topographic map, she found that there was a big lake below. She rolled her eyes. She had an idea. Fly down. Well, jump into the lake. Yun Chujio said resolutely. Our combat strength in the water is much stronger than on land. Only in this way can we fight for a slim chance of survival. Yun Chujio's flying spirit tool rapidly descended. Yun Chujio looked at Ren Lizzie, who had been in a coma the whole time. She had planned to bring him back to continue the interrogation, but now it seemed that she could only kill him. Yun Chujio raised her sword and swung it down. Ren Lizzie died in his sleep. After the flying spirit tool descended to a few feet above the lake, everyone jumped into the lake one after another. The flying spirit tool was also put away by Yun Chujio. The people in the six flying spirit tools were flustered and exasperated as they used the porthole to attack Yun Chujio and the others with their spirit power. Unfortunately, Yun Chujio and the others had dived into the water, so their attacks basically had no effect. Lord Fan Zhen, they've jumped into the lake, what should we do? In one of the flying spirit tools, there were 7 or 8 men wearing silver masks, and in the middle of them stood a man wearing a golden mask. He sneered, this Shi Ling is smart, but he can't escape from me. Let's jump down too. Sir, we don't know how to swim. No problem. We can just watch from the boat, Goldface sneered. Those silver-masked men looked at each other. Watch the show. Watch what show? Those people seem to be good at swimming. We, the landlubbers, can't do anything to them. Fan Zhen, who was Goldface, led those silver-masked men and jumped into the water. He took out a big boat from his storage ring, and everyone got on the boat. Fan Zhen waved his hand, and a huge monster appeared in the lake. Those silver-masked men cried out in surprise. Oh God, it was a Tier 13 illusionary electric eel. Those people were dead for sure. Not to mention that the illusionary electric eel was of a high level, more importantly, it could emit electric currents. It was simply an invincible existence in the water. Fan Zhen said to the illusionary electric eel, go. Electrocute those people to death, but leave the bodies for me. Once I find the thing I need, they're all yours. The illusionary electric eel nodded its huge head and dived into the water. The silver-masked men flattered, Sir, is this illusionary electric eel your spiritual pet? Fan Zhen nodded arrogantly, this is just one of the spiritual pets given to me by the Lord. As long as you work hard for the Lord, you will have such spiritual pets in the future. The silver-masked men were ecstatic. Sir, really? That's great. The illusionary electric eel is a tier 13 demon beast, equivalent to the 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. I think this one of yours might even be equivalent to the 8th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Those people will be dead in less than 15 minutes. Exactly. They think that they can escape by jumping into the water. They're too naive. The illusionary electric eel is the overlord of the water. It only needs a few electric currents to electrocute them to death. No wonder Sir said that we only need to watch the show from the boat. With the illusionary electric eel, not to mention a dozen of them, even 100 people would not be a match. Chapter 830, You are a disgrace to the world of sea creatures, my lord. You said that the map really fell into the hands of that Shirling? My lord, how did you know that something had happened to Renlizzi? I happened to pass by Wanhai City and heard everyone discussing that something had happened to the Yongqing Trading Company. For the sake of caution, I didn't contact Renlizzi. Instead, I captured a few guards from Yongqing Trading Company. After asking, I found out that Renlizzi and the original owner had been captured by a person called Shirling Humph. He actually dared to provoke people from our godly devil hall. This Shirling must die. Sir, you're really observant. With your illusionary electric eel, this Shirling won't be able to escape even if he has wings. That's right. He really has the guts to go against us. There's only one outcome for him, and that's death. Look. The illusionary electric eel is starting to swim in that direction. Shirling and the others must be nearby. It won't be long before their bodies float up. After Yun Chujio and the others dove into the water, they heard the sound of people diving into the water. They knew that those people had also jumped into the water. Just as they were about to show off their skills, they saw those people climb onto a big boat. Yun Chujio was ready to take Yu Hai and the others away from this area of water. Unexpectedly, the water ahead suddenly churned and a huge monster quickly swam toward them. Its body flickered with a 5-colored light, and its 2 big whiskers were more than 3 feet long. An illusionary electric eel. Yun Chujio had read about this illusionary electric eel in the Sea Creature Journal before. The most powerful thing about this illusionary electric eel was that it could emit electric currents. Although many sea creatures had strong bodies, they were also afraid of the illusionary electric eel's electric currents. Therefore, even sea creatures of the same level were not willing to provoke the illusionary electric eel. Yun Chujio gestured to Yu Hai and the others, indicating for them to move further away. She would take care of the illusionary electric eel. Yu Hai and the others originally did not want to leave, but Yun Chujio glared at them. They could only swim further away for the time being. They would be on standby as they witnessed the situation. If Yun Chujio was no match for them, they would come forward to help. Hey! Little Loach, I think you've lived for quite a long time, right? If you don't want to die, hurry up and get back. Otherwise, it'll make you into a braised eel. Yun Chujio recalled the braised eel that Di Baiming had once brought to her. The meat was tender and springy, and it was very delicious. This fellow shamelessly wiped her saliva. The illusionary electric eel was a little dumbfounded. Is there something wrong with this little human weakling's brain? A 5th-level spirit cultivator dares to talk to me like that. It's just you, and you dare to want to eat me. Humph. Wait until Master is done searching for the things, then you'll be my snack. Moreover, I'm an illusionary electric eel, not a little loach. Yu Hai and the others behind him also had stiff expressions. Sect Master, what situation are we in? Are you still thinking of eating? This is a tier 13 illusionary electric eel. Although you're quite powerful, that is electric current. With your small body, just a beam of electric current is enough to electrocute you to death. Little Loach, I heard that these 2 whiskers of yours are very tough. Quickly bite them off and give them to me. I will use them as swings, Yun Chujio said with a smile. The illusionary electric eel was so angry that its two whiskers fiercely lashed at Yun Chujio. Damn it! How dare you talk about my whiskers? I'll beat you to death. TSK. If you don't want to give them to me, then don't. Is there a need to beat me like this? How stingy. You said that you're a dignified Tier 13 sea creature, but you acknowledged a bastard as your master. I'm embarrassed for you. If I were you, I would have strangled myself to death with my whiskers. Your life is a disgrace to the world of sea creatures. Chapter 831, Little Weakling, You're Dead Meat. The illusionary electric eel was so angry that it kept whipping at Yun Chujio. It even forgot to use its electric current and just kept whipping Yun Chujio with its two big whiskers. Unfortunately, Yun Chujio was like a nimble little fish that could not be caught at all. Yu Hai and the others were all dumbfounded. Our sect master is the most amazing person of our generation. In front of a Tier 13 sea creature, he was actually able to criticize with such finesse. This eloquence and courage was really admirable. However, could this illusionary electric eel be a disabled fish? Why did it only care about using its whiskers? Didn't it know how to use electricity? They would not know that the illusionary electric eel was so angry that it was going to faint. It just wanted to whip this human to death. On the ship, the people from the godly demon hall could only see the water in the distance constantly churning. Obviously, there was a fierce battle going on below, but why could they not see the traces of electricity? Even if the illusionary electric eel was attacking underwater, the electric current it was emitting was very strong and should be able to be seen on the surface of the water. Some people said, the illusionary electric eel probably thinks that those people are too weak. It hasn't exercised its muscles and bones for a long time, so it wants to make fun of them. Well, what you said makes sense. It's like a cat playing with a mouse. Of course, it will only eat after it has played with them enough. At that moment, the illusionary electric eel finally remembered its innate ability. It cursed in its heart. I'm so mad at this weak human. Why did I only use my whiskers? I'll use an electric current to electrocute him to death. When the illusionary electric eel thought of this, it stopped moving on the spot. Then, it passed an electric current at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio thought to herself, lightning is essentially an electric current. Even the heavenly lightning can't kill me. You little loach want to electrocute me? Not only did Yun Chujio not dodge, but she swam toward the electric current. Yu Hai and the others were so scared that they almost fainted. Has the sect master gone mad? Aren't you just courting death? It's over. It's over. Our Thunder sect was only established for a few days and was about to be disbanded. The illusionary electric eel's eyes revealed a look of disdain. This human little weakling is actually stupid. No wonder he dared to scold me. If I had known earlier, I would have directly fired the electric current. At that time, Yun Chujio had already swam to the front of the electric current. That beam of electric current did not falter one bit and hit Yun Chujio. Yu Hai and the others closed their eyes. It's over. Our sect master is dead for sure. The illusionary electric eel stared proudly. Little weakling, you're dead for sure. Wait. This is impossible. I must be seeing things. Why is that little weakling completely fine? That's impossible. That electric current must have gone off course and missed him. I'll shoot another beam. This time, it'll definitely hit him. The illusionary electric eel shot another beam of electric current at Yun Chujio. Then, it watched helplessly as that little human weakling was still completely fine. Moreover, he seemed to be even more energetic than before. The illusionary electric eel could not comprehend. How is this possible? Even if I encountered sea creatures of the same level as me, although a beam of electric current would not kill them, it would still numb them for a while. Why is this little human completely fine? Yu Hai and the others widened their eyes and were dumbstruck. Fuck, our sect master is simply not human. He's completely fine even after being struck by the electric current from the illusionary electric eel. This is too unbelievable. The illusionary electric eel still could not believe that there was someone who was not afraid of electric current. It kept shooting electric currents at Yun Chuzhou. Yun Chuzhou leisurely allowed the electric current to hit her body. The electric current added together was not as powerful as a heavenly thunder. Was this not too weak? Chapter 832. The fish was in bad shape. Whether it was the illusionary electric eel or Yu Hai and the others, they all had a feeling that something was wrong. Were they ignorant, or was this young man not human at all? There were so many electric currents that even a person at the peak of the 9th level of the Spirit Emperor realm would not be fine. How could he be fine? Yun Chuzhou raised the corner of her mouth at the illusionary electric eel. Little Loach, it's my turn now, right? Little Jiu Thunderbolt. As Yun Chuzhou spoke, she shot a few small purple lightning bolts at the illusionary electric eel. The small lightning bolts slowly moved toward the illusionary electric eel. When the illusionary electric eel saw that Yun Chuzhou could shoot out purple lightning bolts, it was shocked. It thought to itself, is it because he has the heavenly thunder root spirit that he isn't afraid of my electric currents? Humph. Although my electric current won't cause any harm to you, your lightning is simply too weak. Not only is it thin, but its speed is also so slow. It can't cause any harm to me at all. The illusionary electric eel had the intention to get back at them, so it did not dodge at all. Instead, it stretched out its two long whiskers and lashed them at the small lightning. The small lightning did not dodge at all. It looked as if it was going to let them whip it as they pleased. The two long whiskers lashed out directly. Then, Yu Hai and the others saw the illusionary electric eel continuously rolling in the water, and the two long whiskers were actually broken in half. Originally, Yun Chuzhou's purple lightning bolts alone were not that powerful. However, they could not withstand the illusionary electric eel's courting death. When it used its whiskers to hit them, it used all its strength. Together, the two of them had caused their current situation. Yun Chuzhou was also stunned. Ugh, I didn't expect it to be so uncontrollable. I'll work harder. This fellow kept waving her hands, and several small lightning bolts struck toward the illusionary electric eel. This time, the small lightning bolts changed their previous slow attitude, and struck toward the illusionary electric eel with the speed of lightning. The illusionary electric eel's whiskers were broken, and it was mad with anger. This time, it did not dare to fight with force. When it saw the small lightning bolts coming, it quickly swam to the side. It did not expect that the small lightning bolts would also turn and chase after it. The illusionary electric eel was not feeling good. Fuck. Who could tell it why the lightning would turn? It was impossible. The illusionary electric eel was so scared that it quickly swam to the side. However, its body was too big. Although its head dodged, its tail could not dodge nimbly enough, and it was hit by a few small lightning strikes. Although its skin was rough and its flesh was thick, it still trembled in pain. Its heart was broken. The electric current attack had no effect on the little pervert in front of it. It could have used its whiskers to attack, but the whiskers had been cut off and was still bleeding. Not to mention the presence of the human little pervert, even if it did not move, it would still be in pain. Yun Chuzhou took the chance. To her, this illusionary electric eel was just a bigger loach. As long as she did not let it bite her, it would not be a threat to her. Yun Chuzhou smiled sweetly at it. Little loach, I still have a big killer move. Watch carefully. The illusionary electric eel could not help but shiver. This little pervert's smile was so scary. What was he going to do? Yun Chujio waved her hand and continued to strike out the little lightning. At the same time, she summoned 5 swords and stabbed them at the illusionary electric eel. Using the 5 swords was encouraging a bad habit. This little demon even said that she would break the contract with them after the enchantment. Ah! The more she used them, the more comfortable she became. She had no intention of breaking the contract at all. They could be considered to have boarded a pirate ship. Chapter 833, Forced the fish to rebel. When the illusionary electric eel saw the 5 swords flying toward it, its heart broke. It originally thought that it would be a very easy mission, but who knew that it would encounter a little pervert. Sob sob, I quit. I just want to go home. The illusionary electric eel turned around and ran. If it did not run, its little life would be finished. Wait. Little Loach, don't you want to regain your freedom? Are you willing to be enslaved by others? Yun Chujio shouted from behind. Although the illusionary electric eel paused for a moment, it still continued to swim forward. This little pervert must be deceiving it. It could not be fooled. If it stopped, he would definitely kill it with a sword. Little Loach, what I said is genuine. You signed an equal contract with that person, right? As long as you listen to me, I promise to help you regain your freedom. The illusionary electric eel was a little tempted. It had been forcibly contracted by someone. Its ideal home was the vast sea, and it was not a person's spiritual pet at all. Moreover, that person's spiritual power was slightly weaker than its own. Then again, this little girl might be lying to it. No, it could not be fooled. Oh, little Loach, is that all you have? Do you want to be a cowardly spiritual pet for the rest of your life? Think about the vast sea, and think about the life of an overlord. Don't you dare to take a small risk. In order to show her sincerity, Yun Chujio put away the 5 immortal swords. Yun Chujio's words stimulated something in its body. Yes, it was also once an overlord. Could it just muddle through life? A lifetime of servitude? No, it would not. It wanted to go back to the vast sea. It wanted to live a life again. The electric eel turned its head and swam toward Yun Chujio. It stopped 100 feet away from her. Apparently, it wanted to hear Yun Chujio's plan. Those people aren't good at swimming. You can just capsize their boat. Although you can't kill your master, you can kill the others. Those people will be left in your hands. We're responsible for killing your master. As long as he dies, the contract will naturally be cancelled. Even if we can't kill him, you can still forcefully cancel the contract while he is distracted to deal with us. Although it may cause some damage to your primordial spirit, you will be free in the future. It's worth it to pay such a price. Moreover, if you trust me, I promise you that I will help you refine a spirit replenishing pill to help you restore your primordial spirit. Whether you want to be a spirit pet without dignity or a free overlord, is up to you. If you agree with my opinion, then lift up your broken whisker. If you don't agree, hee hee. Then I won't be polite. I haven't eaten braised eel in a long time. Yun Chujio said as she summoned the 5 fairy swords again and played with the water. The illusionary electric eel was so angry that it almost fainted. This little pervert. How was this a choice for me? It's clearly forcing me into it. Ah, Tui. It was forcing me to rebel. The illusionary electric eel thought for a moment. The little pervert was right. The worst outcome was that a part of its primordial spirit would be damaged. Even if the little pervert did not help it refine the tonic pill, it could cultivate for hundreds of years and be as good as new. No matter what, it was better than being ordered around like a dog. Forget it, it'll go all out. When the illusionary electric eel thought of this, it raised one of its whiskers, indicating that it agreed with Yun Chujia's suggestion. Yu Hai and the others were completely dumbfounded. Damn, what was going on? Their sect master had tricked a Tier 13 illusionary electric eel into rebelling? Damn! This was too awesome. Chapter 834, The Illusionary Electric Eel That Had Been Turned. Yun Chujio nodded in satisfaction. As the saying goes, a wise man submits to circumstances. Little Loach, you will definitely have great development in the future. The illusionary electric eel drooped its head and did not have any reaction. If it were anyone else, they would not be alive and kicking at this time. As a Tier 13 demon creature, it had actually been beaten up by a little pervert. It really had no honor left. Little Loach, hurry up. While that bastard still hasn't reacted, hurry up and flip the boat. We will act according to the plan. Yun Chujio waved her little claws, signaling the illusionary electric eel to act quickly. The illusionary electric eel nodded, turned around, and quickly swam toward the boat where Fan Zhen was. Fan Zhen and the others were also a little puzzled. Why did they still not see the bodies of those people float up after such a long time? Logically speaking, the battle should have been resolved a long time ago. Could it be that the illusionary electric eel was still playing around with them? Fan Zhen used his spiritual sense to urge the illusionary electric eel. When the illusionary electric eel heard his tone that sounded like he was reprimanding a dog, it became even more impatient. Its determination to kill him became even firmer. The illusionary electric eel swam from the bottom of the water to the bottom of the boat. Although Fan Zhen and the others saw the water churning, they thought that the illusionary electric eel was chasing after Yun Chujio and the others, so they did not care. The boat that Fan Zhen and the others were on was not big, and it did not have any defensive functions. How could it withstand the collision of the illusionary electric eel? It immediately flipped over. Those people were still gloating and pointing on the boat when they fell into the water unprepared. It was suddenly chaotic. The scariest thing was that the moment they fell into the water, several electric currents shot toward them. They were not good at swimming, so after being hit by the electric currents, they panicked and wanted to open their mouths to call for help. Water immediately rushed into their mouths. Fan Zhen was shocked. He was so angry that he used his spiritual sense to curse at the eel. Are you crazy? Those are our people. Fan Zhen thought that the illusionary electric eel could not distinguish clearly for a moment, which was why it hurt the silver-masked emissaries. He did not expect that it had been turned around by this little pervert, Yun Chujio. It was as if Fan Zhen had not said anything as the illusionary electric eel vented all the anger it had suffered from Yun Chujio on the silver-masked emissary. Looking at the silver-masked men rolling their eyes from being electrocuted, its confidence was restored. Humph. It seemed that its electric current attack was still as powerful as before. It was that kid who was too abnormal. It was not that its spiritual power had deteriorated. Fan Zhen was so angry that he was about to use his spiritual sense to suppress the illusionary electric eel when several small purple lightning bolts rushed toward him swiftly. Fan Zhen saw the situation and did not care about the silver-masked men anymore. He quickly swam to the side, trying to avoid the purple lightning bolts. He did not expect that the lightning would actually turn around and charge toward him again. Fan Zhen was extremely shocked. This. How can Shirling's energy attack turn around? Ah, heavenly lightning root spirit. Could it be? Could it be that this Shirling was a disguise by Yun Chujio? She, actually escaped from the ancient sword tomb. How could this be possible? Fan Zhen looked fiercely at Yun Chujio who was opposite him. This wretched girl had repeatedly ruined their plans. This time, no matter what, he had to kill her. Fan Zhen released several wind blades to counteract the small purple lightning bolts. Then, he threw several more wind blades at Yun Chujio. Although the speed of the wind blades in the water would be reduced, Fan Zhen was still at the 7th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Even if his speed was reduced, the power of the wind blades was about the same as that of the 5th level of the Spirit Emperor realm. Yun Chujio did not dare to be negligent. She quickly dodged and waved her hands. Several lightning bolts struck at Fan Zhen once again. The two of them tangled in a fight. Chapter 835, Red Spider Lily Secret Technique. Yun Chujio held Fan Zhen back while Yu Hai and the others swam to the side and began to pick up the scraps. After those silver-masked men were struck by the electric current of the illusionary electric eel, their combat strength was greatly reduced. How could Yu Hai and the others let go of such a good opportunity? They naturally wanted to take the opportunity to end their lives. These silver-masked men were simply about to collapse. Damn it! Can anyone tell me why this illusionary electric eel has gone crazy? Why is it attacking us instead of the enemy? Although the number of silver-masked men was 5 times more than Yu Hai and the others, they could not withstand the sudden change in attitude of the illusionary electric eel. In addition, they were not good at swimming, so they immediately fell into a disadvantageous position. On the other hand, the more Fan Zhen fought, the more alarmed he became. How could this Yun Chujio be so difficult to deal with? Although she might have hidden her spiritual power, she would not be above the 3rd level of the Spirit Emperor realm. How could she hold on for such a long time when he was giving it his all? Could it be that she could fight against someone of a higher level? Fan Zhen looked to the side during the battle and was pissed to no end. He saw that not only did the illusionary electric eel not help the silver-masked emissary to deal with the enemy, but it also shocked the silver-masked emissary as if it was Yun Chujio's spiritual pet. Fan Zhen was so angry that he gritted his teeth. This ungrateful beast. When it killed Yun Chujio, it would definitely teach this beast a lesson. When Fan Zhen was gnashing his teeth, he was shocked to see Yun Chujio summon 5 immortal swords that went at him. Impossible. How can Yun Chujio command 5 immortal swords to attack at the same time? Why is her spiritual sense so powerful? I can't let this scourge live. I must kill her today. Fan Zhen bit his middle finger and started to form a seal with his hands. A pattern of the red spider lily appeared in the water. Suddenly, it turned into thousands of poisonous arrows and shot at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was so scared that she quickly sank down. She took out a rolling pin and spun it swiftly to shield against the poisonous arrows. Even so, a few poisonous arrows pierced Yun Chujio's thigh. Fan Zhen was ecstatic in his heart. The poisonous arrows formed by the secret technique were extremely poisonous. This wretched girl was dead for sure. Yun Chujio grimaced in pain and quickly shouted at the illusionary electric eel, "Little Loach, hurry up and move, or it will be too late." The illusionary electric eel naturally did not want to damage its primordial spirit. It wanted Yun Chujio to kill Fan Zhen. Now that it looked like Yun Chujio was no match for Fan Zhen, it had no choice but to forcefully cancel the contract with Fan Zhen. Just as Fan Zhen was feeling pleased with himself, he felt a sharp pain to come from his spiritual sense. He was so angry that he almost went crazy. "Lightning, what are you doing? Are you crazy?" "Humph. If I had not been forcefully abducted by you, would I have acknowledged you as my master? Acknowledging you as my master is worse than acknowledging that little pervert as my master. I will terminate the contract with you today. I want to regain my freedom. If you know what's good for you, then cooperate with me. Otherwise, I'd rather die with you. Neither of us can get better." The illusionary electric eel had suffered for so many years, it had long had enough. Fan Zhen did not expect that his spiritual pet would betray him in such a short period of time. It must have been Yun Chujio, that stinky girl. How did she do it? Fan Zhen was naturally unwilling to break the contract with the illusionary electric eel just like that. He had not expected that the illusionary electric eel would actually strip a strand of its spiritual sense directly from its primordial spirit. Fan Zhen immediately lost control of the illusionary electric eel. Fan Zhen was so angry that he gritted his teeth. What kind of bewitching potion did Yun Chuzhou give the illusionary electric eel? It would actually rather harm its primordial spirit to break the contract with him. What made him even more surprised was that after Yun Chuzhou pulled out the poisonous arrow from her leg, she stuffed a pill into her mouth and was totally fine again. Chapter 836, Duped again. Fan Zhen stood dumbfounded. The poison in the arrows formed by the secret technique of the red spider lily was extremely potent. How was Yun Chuzhou still fine? Just as Fan Zhen felt bewildered, Yun Chuzhou directed 5 flying swords to stab at him. What the fuck? How dare you pepper me with poisonous arrows? I'll kill you. Although the illusionary electric eel's primordial spirit was damaged, it wished that it could vent all the pain that it had suffered for so many years on Fan Zhen. It also shot a beam of electricity at Fan Zhen. Fan Zhen's heart tightened. He could still gain the upper hand if he fought Yun Chuzhou alone. However, with the illusionary electric eel around, even if its primordial spirit was damaged, he was not a match for them. For now, the only thing he could do was to escape. When Fan Zhen thought of this, he squeezed out another drop of blood from his index finger and once again used the secret technique of the red spider lily. A huge red spider lily shimmered in front of him and Fan Zhen disappeared into thin air. Yun Chuzhou frowned. This technique of the godly devil hall was really strange. It could actually instantly make a person disappear. Did he hide or escape? Little Loach, did that bastard hide or escape? Make one of your whiskers stand if he hid. If he escaped, make it 2 whiskers. Yun Chuzhou was on full alert, wary that Fan Zhen still hid nearby. If he ambushed her, it would be bad for her. The illusionary electric eel stuck out 2 of its whiskers, indicating that Fan Zhen had already run away. Yun Chuzhou frowned. Fan Zhen actually left his subordinates behind and ran away by himself. The people from the godly devil hall were indeed ruthless. Little Loach, help me take down these people. I will reward you with delicious food later. Yun Chuzhou was a foodie, so she subconsciously thought that the others around her were all foodies too. The illusionary electric eel rolled its eyes, but it still swam over and helped Yu Hai and the others take care of those silver-masked men. Yun Chuzhou thought happily in her heart. There were so many silver-masked men. She only needed to capture a few of them alive to get more information. That was great. However, what Yun Chuzhou never expected was that those silver-masked men suddenly bled to death from their 7 orifices. What was going on? They had all taken poison to commit suicide. Even so, they wouldn't have died so neatly. What was going on? Now was not the time to delve further. Yun Chuzhou asked Yu Hai and the others to put away the silver-masked men's corpses. Then, she asked the illusionary electric eel, Little Loach, are you going to stay in this lake or follow me? I'll send you back to the sea when there's an opportunity. Even if you don't recognize me as your master, you can still enter my spirit beast bag. Don't worry, I didn't kill you before, and I won't kill you in the future. The illusionary electric eel felt that it was better to recuperate for some time now that its spiritual sense was damaged. Moreover, if it followed this little monster, he might even be able to get a tonic pill. Therefore, it nodded and agreed to go with Yun Chuzhou. After the illusionary electric eel entered Yun Chuzhou's spiritual beast bag, it finally realized that something was wrong. The little monster did not kill it previously because she was not yet strong enough to. However, it was different now. Did it just walk into a trap? Fuck. It was tricked again. Yun Chuzhou asked Yu Hai and the others to clean up the battlefield. She swam back to the place where it had fought with the illusionary electric eel just now. It also stored the 2 broken whiskers of the illusionary electric eel into its storage ring. These 2 whiskers were enough to make a swing. After everything was done, everyone finally surfaced and found an open space. Yun Chujio summoned her flying spiritual device and everyone boarded the flying tool to continue their journey. Only a few of you heist men were slightly injured. The rest of them were unharmed. They admired Yun Chujio very much. If he had not jumped into the lake and not used his sharp tongue to provoke the illusionary electric eel, they would already be dead. Sect Master was too awesome. Chapter 837, Our Sect Master is a Woman. After everyone boarded the flying spirit tool, Yun Chujio asked Yu Hai to retrieve the corpse of a silver-masked man. After she examined it, she discovered that he did not die from poison. Yun Chujio asked Yu Hai to collect all the storage rings of the silver-masked men. Other than finding some jade tokens and medicinal pills engraved with the spider lily symbol, Yun Chujio did not find anything else of value. Yun Chujio gave all the spirit stones to Yu Hai and the others. Each of them received over 10 million low-grade spirit stones. Yu Hai and the others were so scared that they did not dare to accept them. Sect Master, this is too much. It's better to use it for the sect. Yes, Sect Master, we are not worthy of it. Sect Master, it's better for you to keep it for yourself. We have already divided quite a lot of spirit stones among ourselves before this. What's there to be polite about? Just take it. Our Heavenly Thunder sect is really rich. This is just a small taste. There will be more to share with you in the future. The 15 of you will be our Thunder sect's founding elders in the future. You might even become peak masters. Yun Chujio began to passionately brainwash them. Yu Hai and the other fighting spirits were ignited by the beautiful future plans that Yun Chujio had described. They wanted nothing more than to immediately show off their skills. Alright, all of you were very tired from the fierce battle just now. Take turns to drive and be on guard. I'll go in and rest too. Yun Chujio saw she had almost completely brainwashed them, so she went into the inner room to rest. Yun Chujio sorted out the recent events and felt that the powers behind the godly Devil Hall were not to be underestimated. They had trained many subordinates under everyone's noses and had even built up several forces in the Endless Sea and the Chimeric Plains. From what Ren Lizzie had said, the Master's spiritual power was even higher than that of the mighty figures in the Tianyuan continent. Although it might be exaggerated, one of his subordinates, Gold Face, had reached the 7th level of the spiritual emperor realm. His strength was truly unfathomable. Moreover, the 2 times that gold-faced emissary had used the secret art of the red spider lily were both extremely powerful. If not for strange grass, she might have already died. Moreover, they were able to control the ancient sword tomb's array formation and even break the underwater array formation. It was truly inconceivable that they knew about ancient array formations. However, the only good news was that they had yet to find the location of the Eye of the Earth. Otherwise, they wouldn't have developed their forces to search for the map. It was truly a pity that Goldface's emissary escaped. Otherwise, they would be able to get more useful information out of him. Also, why did those silver-masked emissaries suddenly die? It was really strange. Forget it. I'll ask Prince Charming when we meet up. Maybe he will know. Speaking of which, we should be able to meet Prince Charming in another 2 days at most. Just thinking about it is making me a little excited. 2 days later, Yun Chujio was reading a script when Yu Hai ran in and said, "Sect Master, there's a flying spirit tool flying towards us." The person inside indicated that we should land immediately. Yun Chujio was delighted. Could it be Prince Charming? Yun Chujio quickly ran to the front of the observation window. As soon as she saw the flashy flying spiritual tool in front of her, Yun Chujio knew who it was. It was the black chicken head. Yun Chujio poked her head out of the porthole. Brother Wuji. Is that you? Little sister Jiu. It's really you. Wu, I've been thinking so much about you. I thought I would never see you again. Shui Wuji wailed half-truthfully, but his eyes were already red. Yun Chujia's eyes were also slightly red. This time, it could be said that she had narrowly escaped death. Any mistake in her adventures recently would have cost her her life. Land immediately. It's my brother Wuji, Yun Chujio said to the crowd. Yu Hai and the others were all dumbfounded. Little sister Jiu. What the hell? Their sect master is a woman. Not a man. Chapter 838, about to be struck to death by lightning, Yu Hai let out a long sigh of relief after he recovered from the initial shock. Damn, it was not so bad that the sect master was a woman. At least he did not have to worry that she was aligned sideways. He had been scared to death these past few days. After Yu Hai saw Shui Wuji's appearance, he no longer had the slightest bit of worry from before. Regardless of whether the sect master was a man or a woman, when it came to that brother Wuji, they would not even be seen in the same light. That brother Wuji was too handsome, he looked like he stepped out of a painting. Compared to him, they were all ugly. They found a clearing nearby and landed the two flying spirit tools. Upon touching the ground, Shui Wuji howled and pounced towards Yun Chujio, wanting to give Yun Chujio a big hug. However, Shui Wuji had yet to arrive in front of Yun Chujio when he heard a shout from the sky, Shui Wuji. Stop right there. Everyone looked up and saw a white-robed man flying over from not far away on his sword. His eyebrows were as sharp as ink and his eyes were sharp. Anyone who saw him could not help but want to kneel and submit. Shui Wuji pursed his lips. The damn facial paralysis arrived too quickly. Just a little bit more and he would little sister Jiu away. Just as Di Biming landed on the ground, Yun Chujio pounced on him, Prince Charming. I missed you so much. I thought I would never see you again. Di Biming hugged Yun Chujio tightly in his arms. His heart was filled with all kinds of feelings. Guilt, heartache, and joy were all mixed together. He could not even say a single word. Enough. Enough. Don't get too excited. There will be plenty of opportunities for that in the future. Little sister Jiu, hurry up and tell me how you escaped. As Shui Wuji looked at the two of them, his heart felt sour. Even little sister Jiu was not so excited when she saw him. Sure enough, she only had Di Biming in her eyes. His heart felt like it had been cut by 1,000 swords. Yun Chujio broke into a smile and said smugly, "Oh right, Prince Charming, brother Wuji, I will be the sect master of the Heavenly Thunder sect from now on." These are all members of the Heavenly Thunder sect. Di Biming and Shui Wuji were dumbfounded. How did she become a sect master after not seeing her for a few months? Little sister Jiu, what's going on with this Heavenly Thunder sect? Are they originally from another sect? Shui Wuji sized up Yu Hai and the others. There were 5 spirit emperors among them, and the rest were all above the 5th layer of the spirit cultivator realm. It was not bad, but what was this Heavenly Thunder sect all about? No. They were originally from the Fishbone Gang. The Heavenly Thunder sect is my newly established sect. How about it? I'm pretty good at naming things, right? The Heavenly Thunder sect is the ancestor of the Thunder sect. That damned old bastard Tian Dao always wants to strike me down. This time, I can finally hold my head up high. Yun Chujio said smugly. Yu Hai and the others' faces were stiff. The ancestor of the Thunder sect? Old bastard Tian Dao. Damn it, Would it be too late for them to leave the sect now? Sect Master, are you crazy? You dared to shout at the wild heavenly lightning in Tian Dao. Are you not afraid that Tian Dao will get angry? Just as Yu Hai and the others were cursing in their hearts, they felt the sky darken. A few dark clouds were rapidly gathering around them. Yu Hai and the others thought to themselves, it's over. Tian Dao is going to send down heavenly lightning to strike their sect master. Oh, sect master, even if the name you came up with really meant that you should have kept it to yourself. Why did you say it out loud? Great, now that you've angered Tian Dao, he will strike you to death with lightning. Their heavenly thunder sect was plagued with disasters. A few days ago, they were almost destroyed by that godly devil Hall. This time, their sect master was going to be struck to death by lightning again. Chapter 839, Heavenly Lightning was also afraid. Sect Master, those lightning clouds must be here for you. Well, get its attention. You'd better find a place to hide. Yu Hai said worriedly. Anfeng stood at the side, thinking to himself that these new subordinates of Miss Jiao were quite loyal. However, they did not know that their sect master was a monster in a small frame. In a while, their worldview would be completely changed. Yun Chujiao waved her hand at Yu Hai and the others. Don't worry. I'm about to break through. That little weak lightning can't do anything to me. All of you, step back and stay far away from me so that you won't be hurt. What the hell? You're about to break through. What does your breakthrough have to do with the heavenly lightning? Also, what is a little weak lightning? Can the heavenly lightning be described as weak? Sect Master, you should be more careful. However, when Yu Hai and the others saw that Yun Chujia's confident attitude and that the two men with high spiritual power did not seem to care at all, they could only back off. Yun Chujiao took out a handkerchief to tie up her hair and then said to Di Baiming and Shui Wuji with a smile, Prince Charming, Brother Wuji, you guys wait for me over there too. After I've gotten rid of these weaklings, we can have a good chat. Both of them had seen Yun Chujia's abnormal performance before, so they retreated to the side without any objections. She was still fine even after being repeatedly struck in the ancient sword tomb. This bit of heavenly lightning was nothing at all. Yu Hai and the others looked at the dark clouds in the sky and were a little puzzled. Those dark clouds were originally floating quite fast, but why were they now trembling on the spot and not moving forward? Yun Chujiao was a little impatient from waiting. Hey! What's wrong? Time is money, and time is life. Don't you feel ashamed wasting your time like this? Hurry up and strike me a few times. I'm a busy girl. Yu Hai and the others were unable to express their feelings. They only had 5 words for Yun Chujiao, you have a death wish. How could she ask to be struck by lightning in such a rush? Our sect master is seeking death by playing tricks on the heavens. When the dark clouds heard Yun Chujia's shout, they all gathered together while they trembled. When Yun Chujiao saw that they were finally ready to start throwing a few bolts, she said with satisfaction, not bad. Since you learned from your mistakes, you can work together as a large thundercloud. Come on. Strike. I'm ready. The dark clouds randomly struck the area around her and then they abruptly scrambled to float away. Yun Chujiao looked at the charred trees around her and then looked at the intact ground around her. She mumbled, could it be that the eyes of this batch of wild heavenly lightning clouds are not very good? Why did they all go? If I had known this would happen, I would have taken the initiative to welcome them. It has been a long time since I was struck by lightning. I miss that numbing feeling. Yu Hai and the others were dumbfounded. Their worldview had been shattered and rebuilt into something new. Damn, it seemed that not only were ghosts afraid of evildoers, but heavenly lightning was also afraid of evildoers. Our sect master only shouted a few words, but the heavenly thunder was so frightened that it could not strike her accurately. Anfeng looked at Yu Hai and the others sympathetically and thought to himself, this is just a taste. In the future, there will be many things about her that will scare you. Steel your little hearts. You are both lucky and unlucky at the same time for having such a sect master. Yun Chujio put away the handkerchief and then said with a smile, Prince Charming, Brother Wuji, it's noon now. Let's roast some meat and eat. Let's talk while eating. Yun Chujio had been craving roast meat for a long time, but she had been on tenterhooks these days. She was afraid that the people of the godly devil hall would take revenge on her, so she did not have the time to roast some. Now she finally had a chance to indulge herself. Chapter 840, Soul Shatter. Yun Chujio cheerfully ordered Anfeng and the others to roast the meat, while she excitedly told Di Biming and Xue Wuji about her experiences. The two of them were stunned when they heard what she went through recently. Thousands of spirit tools attacking the enchantment at the same time. Making an ally with the level 13 giant tsunami turtle. Killing 2 level 13 bloodthirsty sword shark. Annihilating the Yongxing Trading Company. Incited a level 13 illusionary electric eel. Killed dozens of silver-masked emissaries from the godly demon temple. Anfeng was busy barbecuing meat, but after hearing most of it, he was filled with admiration for Yun Chujio. I told you, why are you afraid of others bullying Miss Jiu? It's already a miracle that she doesn't bully others. Even a level 13 sea beast wasn't a match for Miss Jiu. Who would dare to provoke such a strong woman? Prince Charming, why do you think those silver-masked men suddenly died? I've checked their corpses, they didn't commit suicide by taking poison. Yun Chujio asked in confusion. Little Jiu, take out one of their corpses. I'll take a look. Di Biming said in a deep voice. Xue Wuji curled his lips. Little Jiu, you think too highly of him. You're so smart, but you still couldn't find the cause. What makes you think he will? It's a waste of your time. Yun Chujio thought that Di Biming would turn hostile when she heard Xue Wuji talking about Di Biming. She did not expect Di Biming to act as if he did not hear him. He did not even look at Xue Wuji. Yun Chujio looked at Xue Wuji and then looked at Di Biming. She was puzzled. What had happened in the past few months? Why was the pretty boy so patient with Black Chicken Head? After Di Biming examined the corpse of a silver-masked man, he pondered for a moment and said, Ren Lizzie once said that after the silver-masked man died, the higher-ups would immediately know who killed them, right? Yun Chujio nodded. That's right. I don't think he is lying. I once read in an old book that in ancient times, there was a secret technique called Soul Shatter. Back then, the gold-masked man must have left a mark in the silver-masked man's psyche. Therefore, the gold-masked man could use a special method to see through the eyes of the silver-masked man before he died. However, if the gold-masked man used a secret technique to activate the mark, it could cause the silver-masked man's soul to shatter and die. Di Biming frowned. This godly devil hall knew about ancient arrays and ancient secret arts. They must be powerful. Xue Wuji did not expect Di Biming to come up with that conclusion. He rubbed his nose awkwardly and said, You're just guessing. It might not be the case. The ancient secret arts have been lost after all. How would they know about it? Brother Wuji, what the Prince Charming said should be right. The godly devil hall is strange. The golden masked man used their secret arts twice. Each time, a huge spider lily would manifest. One time, it transformed into thousands of poisonous arrows. Although I tried my best to dodge, I was still stabbed in the thigh. The second time, when he ran away, he just disappeared into thin air. Your leg is injured. Let me see. Di Biming automatically ignored the rest of the information. His entire attention was on Yunchujia's leg. Di Baiming. Are you shameless? Little sister Jiu's leg is injured, what are you looking at? Besides, if you didn't see little sister Jiu jumping around, she would have recovered a long time ago. Don't take advantage of little sister Jiu. Xue Wuji cursed when he saw Di Baiming staring at Yunchujia's leg. Di Baiming could not take it anymore, and he looked at Xue Wuji coldly. Xue Wuji, I've tolerated you for a few months, and this is the first and last time I'm warning you. If you dare to speak rudely to me again, I'll teach you a lesson. Chapter 841, Xue Wuji complaining. Xue Wuji saw that Di Baiming was angry, he feared for his safety. He muttered, I'm not wrong, am I? How can I let you ogle at little sister Jiu's leg just like that? Yunchujiu quickly put out the fire and said with a smile, Prince Charming, I'm already fine. I'll be okay after eating some pills. Don't be angry. Let's eat some roasted meat. I'm dying of hunger. Di Baiming then snorted coldly and sat down. Yunchujiu was afraid that the two of them would start arguing again and quickly changed the topic, that Ren Lizzie also said that their master is absurdly strong. He said that he's even more powerful than the mighty figures in the Tianyuan continent. I don't think he's bragging, but if that dog shit master is so powerful, why didn't he personally look for the eye of the earth? To regain his face, Xue Wuji said, Little sister Jiu, you may not know this, but although that master is powerful, his spiritual power might be suppressed while in the Azure Mystic Continent. Moreover, a person's energy is limited. No matter how powerful he is, he can't go around everywhere looking for the eye of the earth. Naturally, he wants to preserve his power, so it's more practical to let his subordinates do the hard work. It's also possible that for some reason, that master can't come to the Azure Mystic Continent at all, Di Baiming added. Yunchujiu sighed, perhaps the godly devil hall has already planted spies in the 4 great sections. Ren Lizzie also said that there was a big plan recently. I don't know what kind of plan it is, but I have a feeling that a storm is coming. Little sister Jiu, you don't have to worry. I will protect you. I am not like some people who will only watch you fall into a deep pit without saving you. Xue Wuji obviously had a memory problem. Although he was just told off by Di Baiming, he still blurted out something offensive. After finishing his words, he also felt a little guilty. He said with a fierce expression, Di Baiming, I'm telling the truth. You won't even let me tell the truth, right? You're right. I'm useless. Little Jiu, don't worry. From now on, I will work harder in my cultivation. I won't let that happen again. Di Baiming said in a low voice. He looked at Yunchujiu with a determined gaze. Yunchujiu nodded. Yes, my Prince Charming. I believe in you. When Xue Wuji saw that Di Baiming and Yunchujiu gazed at each other lovingly, his heart felt sour as if it had been soaked in vinegar. He rolled his eyes and said, Little Jiu, the meat is ready. Sure enough, Yunchujia's attention immediately shifted from Di Baiming to the fragrant roasted meat. Prince Charming, Brother Wuji, it's time to eat. I've been living in the wild these few days and had never eaten a decent meal. Today, I can finally indulge myself. Yunchujiu wiped off her saliva and said. Di Baiming's eyes flashed with a trace of pity. He took out a square table from his storage ring and placed a lot of Yunchujia's favorite food on it. The foodie in Yunchujiu immediately beamed with joy. Prince Charming, you know me well. These are all my favorite foods. When I was trapped inside the enchantment, other than thinking about you, I only thought about these delicacies. Di Baiming didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that his status was only slightly higher than the delicacies on the table. After everyone finished eating and drinking, they summoned their flying spirit tools and prepared to return to the Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chuzhou and Di Baiming would naturally travel together in a flying spirit tool, yet Xue Wuji shamelessly insisted on going with them. Although Di Baiming wanted nothing more than to slap him to death, he could not stop Xue Wuji from complaining. Di Baiming, if I hadn't been encouraging you for the past 4 months, would you have been able to endure it? I took the risk of being slapped to death by you and encouraged you all day long. It wasn't easy for me too. Yet I can't even hitch a ride. Chapter 842, A beautiful and graceful young lady. Secret Agent Huahua sighed in her heart, "Young master, why are you doing this? As the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind. Could it be that you have a masochistic streak? Do you have to watch the two of them make out with each other and then come back howling in sadness?" In the end, Secret Agent Huahua and Enfeng boarded Di Baiming's flying spirit tool. Yu Hai and the others piloted another flying spirit tool and flew towards the Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chuzhou felt that with Di Baiming by her side, she immediately felt at ease. She had a good meal and slept soundly. "Prince Charming, Brother Wuji, wait for me in the cockpit. I'm going to take a shower. I've been using the cleaning spell for such a long time. It's uncomfortable to not take a proper shower after such a long time," said Yun Chuzhou as she felt that a proper shower was overdue after her recent adventures. Xue Wuji was fine, but Di Baiming's ears turned red. When he thought of the previous incident, his heart started to beat violently. He kept telling himself not to think about it, but the scene from that time kept appearing. Xue Wuji's eyes flashed. "Di Baiming, what are you thinking about? Don't tell me you just had some bad thoughts about little sister Jiu. What are you talking about?" "I was thinking about the godly devil hall." The romantic thoughts in Di Baiming's mind instantly dissipated. "Humph. You can't lie to me. Then tell me, what exactly about the godly devil hall are you thinking of?" Xue Wuji curled his lips and asked. According to what Ren Lizzie said, the master's spiritual power is so high that the eye of the earth in the azure mystic continent might not be enough to satisfy his appetite. Do you think his hand has already extended to the black sky continent? Di Baiming said with a serious expression. This shouldn't be possible, right? Those pills that could increase spiritual power rapidly were not very useful to the cultivators in Black Sky Continent. If there were no pills to bribe them with, he would not have any other tool to persuade the cultivators there. Besides, we are not to be trifled with. Who would dare to play such tricks under our noses? Xue Wuji said with great confidence. The Eastern Continent is indeed under our control, but the Western Continent and the 10,000-year frozen wilds are not. Perhaps he has already started his operation there, Di Baiming said with a slight frown. Xue Wuji was stunned for a moment. He thought for a moment and said, although the Western Continent and the 10,000-year frozen wilds are not under our control, the weather there is terrible and high-level demon beasts run rampant. There is a limit to how much one can develop their forces there. At most, we can send people to scout the area. Di Baiming nodded. Although the Hall of Longevity and Demon Blood sect usually fought each other, if the safety of the Black Sky Continent was involved, the overall situation would naturally be more important. As the two of them were talking, Yun Chuzhou jumped out from inside. Prince Charming, Brother Wuji, what are you talking so excitedly about? Di Baiming and Xue Wuji raised their heads and were instantly stunned. Standing in front of them was a beautiful and graceful young lady. Although her body had not fully grown, there was already a slight curve on her body. Her fair skin was as delicate as jade, and her facial features were exquisite as carved from marble. A pair of eyes were looking at them mischievously. Little sister Jiu. Are you really little sister Jiu? Xue Wuji blurted out in disbelief. Although Yun Chuzhou could be considered a little beauty before, there was still a gap between her and the young lady in front of him at that time. Di Biming stood in front of Xue Wuji and said, "Little Jiu, I think it's more convenient for you to wear men's clothes." Di Biming, are you blind? Little sister Jiu looks so good in women's clothes. Little sister Jiu, you are the most beautiful girl I have ever seen, you're just like a little fairy. Xue Wuji said flatteringly. Chapter 843, The Treasure of the Yun Family. Yun Chuzhou did not look at herself in the mirror after taking a shower. After hearing what Xue Wuji said, she immediately took out a mirror. Then, she touched the mirror with her hand in disbelief. She exclaimed, "Damn! Is this beauty in the mirror really me? I finally understand what it means to be able to topple a city with one look and then a country with another. Ha ha ha. I, Yun Chuzhou, have finally turned from a sparrow into a phoenix. I was still a black sparrow back then." Xue Wuji rubbed his chin. Alright, she was originally very beautiful, but after little sister Jiu showed off, some of the charms had faded. A true beauty still depended on her temperament. Yun Chuzhou stood in front of the mirror and admired herself for an hour. She exhausted all the words about beauty in her vocabulary describing herself before she put away the mirror contentedly. To show off, she intentionally let the flying spirit tool land on wide empty space. She circled around in front of Yu Hai and the others, and as she intended, she saw the faces of her dumbfounded subordinates. Only then did get on the flying spirit tool. Yu Hai and the others did not regain their senses until they boarded their own flying spirit tool. Damn it, our sect master is actually so beautiful. This god is really unfair. Not only is our sect master's spiritual power abnormal, but she is also so beautiful. Life is so unfair to us. The thing that Yun Chuzhou was suddenly most obsessed with while on the way was to look in the mirror. As she looked in the mirror, she would start to mumble to herself as if she was possessed. Anfeng secretly criticized her. The current state of the ninth miss was like a poor person who had suddenly become rich. It would probably take some time for her to get used to her beauty. However, the ninth miss appearance had indeed become more and more beautiful. She was comparable now to the famous beauties in the Tianyuan continent. A month later, everyone finally arrived near the Spirit Radiance sect. Yun Chuzhou did not return to the Spirit Radiance sect immediately. Instead, she took a detour to Spirit Radiance City. Firstly, she wanted to visit Yun Xiaotian. Secondly, she wanted to settle Yu Hai and the others somewhere. Yun Xiaotian had not known about the news of Yun Chujia's accident. Yun Chuzhou also told everyone not to mention it. "Grandfather, do you think I've become more beautiful?" The first thing Yun Chuzhou did when she saw Yun Xiaotian was to show off her appearance. Yun Xiaotian nodded. "Your general appearance hasn't changed much, but your skin has become whiter, and facial features have become more exquisite. In grandfather's heart, little Jiu has always been a beautiful little fairy. Hee, grandfather's taste is still the best. I was born with natural beauty." Yun Chujia's eyelashes immediately beamed with joy. She grabbed Yun Xiaoshan's arm and hopped into the room. Anfeng gave Yun Xiaotian a salute in his heart. "The older the ginger, the spicier it is. Look at how good old Master Yun is at sweet-talking. We still have a lot to learn from him." After everyone had their lunch, Yun Xiaotian said to Yun Chuzhou, "Little Jiu, come to my study. Grandfather has something to tell you." Yun Chujia's heart sank when she saw Yun Xiaoshan's serious expression. "Did something happen? Grandfather, what do you want to talk to me about?" Yun Chuzhou asked impatiently after entering the study. Yun Xiaotian sighed, "Little Jiu, grandfather is not senile yet. Tell me honestly, did you run into danger again?" Yun Chuzhou laughed dryly, "Grandfather, I kept quiet because I was afraid that you would be worried. Besides, I'm still alive and kicking now. Isn't everything fine? Sigh. In the end, grandfather is useless and can't protect you. Yun Xiaotian sighed deeply. Grandfather. How can you think like that? Little Jiu was naughty and stupid in the past. If it weren't for grandfather protecting me, I might not have been in such a miserable state. Now that I'm more powerful, it will be little Jiu protecting you in the future. Yun Chujio said with a serious face. Yun Xiaotian gritted his teeth and seemed to have made up his mind. Then he said, Little Jiu, grandfather has something to give you. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and suddenly remembered that when she had just transmigrated, she had overheard her grandfather and housekeeper Ji saying that the Yun family seemed to have some secret treasure. Could it be that grandfather wanted to give that treasure to me? Yun Xiaotian took out a cloth bag from his storage ring and opened it with trembling hands. Inside was another cloth bag. When he opened it again, there was yet another cloth bag. Chapter 844. A black bead. Yun Chujio watched helplessly as Yun Xiaotian opened up a total of 8 layers of cloth, and inside it was a dim, broken black bead. Yun Chujio was instantly discouraged. This broken bead did not have the slightest fluctuation of spiritual power. What kind of treasure was this? Moreover, even if it was really a treasure, it should have been passed to her 4th brother or 5th sister, but not to her. Little Jiu, this bead is the family heirloom of our Yun family. Today, grandfather will give it to you. Don't look at it as something ordinary. Your great-grandfather once told me that this bead is the key to a big secret. It must not fall into the hands of others. Yun Xiaotian said solemnly. Grandfather, you'd better give this bead to uncle. Or you can give it to 4th brother and 5th sister. They are older than me, so shouldn't it be given to them? Although Yun Chujio was greedy, she still knew what to do and what not to do. Yun Xiaotian shook his head. When your great-grandfather gave it to me, he also said that this bead would only recognize the Yun family's bloodline. However, all of us, including your father, tried to make this bead recognize its owner, but there was no reaction after our blood was dripped on it. Grandfather has been feeling uneasy recently, and I always feel that something big is about to happen. After thinking about it, grandfather can only be at ease if I give this bead to you. If something happens to grandfather, you can find the right time to hand the bead over to your uncle or Chu Si. Pooey. 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 What you said just now doesn't count. Grandfather, why are you saying such morbid things? No matter what happens, little Jiu will protect you. Yun Chujio said angrily. Yun Xiaotian sighed. Silly child, grandfather is just afraid of what might happen. Grandfather has caused you a lot of trouble. Who knows, this bead might end up attracting more trouble in the future. However, after thinking about it, I realize that only you can protect this bead. Grandfather has let you down. Yun Xiaotian had also struggled for a long time, but recently, he had felt increasingly uneasy. After thinking about it, he decided to bite the bullet and hand the bead over to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio saw that Yun Xiaotian did not seem to be making excuses. She could only take the bead and say, Grandfather, don't worry. I will take good care of this. When you change your mind one day, I will return it to you. Hee. Fortunately, only the Yun family's bloodline can activate this bead. Otherwise, I might be greedy and take it for myself. Yun Xiaotian knew that Yun Chujio was deliberately interrupting him to cheer him up, so he stroked his beard and said, You greedy little monkey. Were it was not for this reason, would grandfather dare to hand this bead to you? Hee. Grandfather, does this thing really only recognize the bloodline of the Yun family? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Of course. When your great-grandfather gave it to me, he specifically said that only the blood of the Yun family could unlock the secret of this bead. Somewhere along the way, this bead was once seized by others, but they could not do a single thing with it. If you don't believe it, just try it. Yun Xiaotian said with a smile. How can there be a treasure that only recognizes specific bloodlines? I don't believe it. Grandfather, I'm giving it a go. Don't blame me if it is really activated. Yun Chuzhou saw that although Yun Xiaotian was smiling, there was still a hint of melancholy between his brows. She was ready to play tricks on him to make Yun Xiaotian laugh. Yun Xiaotian was indeed amused by Yun Chuzhia's greed. You greedy little monkey, just try it then. If it really recognizes you as its master, grandfather will give this bead to you. Anyway, you are a member of the Yun family. If it weren't for your bloodline, grandfather would have wanted you to try it long ago. Chapter 845. The damned black bead. Yun Chuzhou bit her index finger and dropped a single drop of her blood on the bead to entertain her grandfather. As expected, the bead did not show any reaction. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, Grandfather, what you said made sense. This thing is indeed. Before Yun Chuzhou could finish her words, the bead was firmly attached itself to Yun Chuzhia's index finger and kept sucking on Yun Chuzhia's blood. Grandfather. What's going on? This is a blood-sucking monster. Damn bead, get off. Yun Chuzhou used her left hand to pull at the bead but had latched on tight to her right index finger and would not budge. Yun Xiaotian was also shocked. He had never expected such a situation. He quickly helped Yun Chuzhou in trying to pull it off, but he did not dare to use too much force, afraid that he would hurt Yun Chuzhia's finger. Yun Xiaotian no longer cared about whether it was an heirloom or not. Xiao Jiu, put your hand on the table. Grandfather will smash this bead. Yun Chuzhia's heart warmed. She knew the meaning of this bead to the Yun family. She gritted her teeth. Grandfather, if you really can't do it, use a dagger to chop off a part of my finger. Nonsense. No matter how precious this bead is, it's just an inanimate object. It's not as important as you are. Yun Xiaotian said as he found a small hammer from his storage ring and swung it at the black bead. Unexpectedly, after smashing it, nothing happened to the black bead, but the hammer was shaken until several cracks appeared on it. Yun Xiaotian was instantly dumbfounded. Now, he did not care about keeping it a secret anymore. He raised his head and shouted at Di Baiming, Baiming. Baiming. Get in here quickly, something happened to little Jiu. When Di Baiming heard Yun Xiaoshan's anxious cry, he was immediately scared out of his wits. He hurriedly rushed into Yun Xiaoshan's study. Wu, Prince Charming, this damn bead wants to suck out all my blood. Think of a way to get it off. If nothing works, just chop off a part of my finger. Wah! I finally turned into a peerless beauty, but am about to lose a part of my finger. My life is so bitter. Yun Chuzhou cried loudly. Little Jiu, don't be anxious. There must be some way to get it off. Di Baiming comforted Yun Chuzhou while pulling at the black bead. Di Baiming tried several times but failed to remove it. It was as if the black bead was a part of Yun Chuzhia's finger now and could not be separated at all. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chuzhia's face was getting paler and paler. He gritted his teeth. Little Jiu, the only way is to cut off this part of your finger. Otherwise, you will die of blood loss. Don't worry, I will a regeneration pill for you from my master. I will make sure that your finger will grow back just as it was before. Yun Chuzhou nodded and said, My Prince Charming, do it. It's better to be quick than to be in pain for a long time. After I remove this black bead, I will use lightning to strike it to death. Yun Chuzhia's eyes lit up when she said this. Why don't I try using my lightning against this black bead? It might work. Yun Chujio waved her left hand at the black bead and released a purple lightning bolt. What everyone did not expect happened. The purple lightning bolt was actually absorbed by the black bead. When Yun Chujio saw that the black bead had a reaction, she quickly threw out another bolt of lightning towards the black bead. As expected, the black bead once again absorbed the purple lightning bolt into its body. At the same time, Yun Chujio felt that although the black bead was still firmly attached to her hand, it was no longer sucking her blood. Yun Chujio was delighted and quickly waved her left hand towards the black bead. The black bead seemed to have been hungry for a long time and absorbed all the heavenly purple lightning that was thrown at it. Chapter 846, Was Little Jiu My Biological Granddaughter? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and came up with an idea. When she threw the purple lightning bolt again, she deliberately made through it at a slightly crooked angle. As expected, she felt that the black bead had loosened its grip on her finger. Yun Chujio was ecstatic in her heart, but she did not show it on her face. She continued to throw lightning bolts at the black bead with lightning, but she deliberately threw it at increasingly different angles and felt the black bead's grip getting looser. Finally, after Yun Chujio threw another lightning bolt, the black bead completely let go of Yun Chujio's finger and flew towards the lightning bolt to swallow it up. The first thing Yun Chujio did was to wrap her right hand with a cloth. She then took out a large kitchen knife and slashed at the black bead. She was furious. As she slashed, she cursed, "You bastard. You actually want to suck my blood. I'll chop you to death. You like to eat my little lightning bolts, huh? I'll let you eat your fill once I chop you into 360 pieces." The black bead did not move at all and allowed Yun Chujio to slash at it. It was as if the blood-sucking and lightning-devouring were all just an illusion. Yun Chujio held the large kitchen knife and slashed it for a while. Only then did she calm down. She looked down and saw that the black bead was unharmed. The large kitchen knife did not change either. It seemed that she had exerted herself in vain. "Grandfather, this black bead is too strange. You should keep it. If I keep it, I'm afraid I'll die of blood loss one day. Why don't you just throw it into the river?" "I don't think it's useful at all," Yun Chujio said angrily. Yun Xiaotian also did not expect the black bead to cause such a commotion. However, they said that this black bead could only be activated by the Yun family bloodline, so why did it react to little Jiu's blood? No matter the reason, it was a Yun family heirloom, so it definitely could not be thrown away. It was better to put it away somewhere out of reach. Thinking of this, Yun Xiaotian used his spiritual sense to try to put the black bead into his storage ring but found that it would not go back inside. Yun Xiaotian was dumbfounded. It would not go back into his storage ring. What was the meaning of that? Had it meant that the black bead had recognized its master? Little Jiu, this black bead has probably recognized you as its master. Yun Xiaotian said with a confused look. Even he felt that it was very strange. His family had always said that only the Yun family bloodline could do such a thing. Could it be that the ancestors were lying to him? "Grandfather, what did you say?" Yun Xiaotian was already confused, and Yun Chujio even more so. Grandfather tried to put it into the storage ring, but it wouldn't go in. "That means it recognized you as its master." "What? This bastard recognized me as its master?" "Grandfather, are you kidding? Didn't you say that only the Yun family's bloodline can activate this black bead?" Yun Xiaotian coughed dryly. That was the information that was passed down from the ancestors. But, the reality right in front of us now says otherwise. Not only did it suck your blood, but now I can't even keep it in my storage ring. This means that it has already recognized you as its master. Humph. Even if it recognized me as its master, I wouldn't want this blood-sucking pearl. Grandfather, you can put it anywhere you want. I don't want it. Oh right, grandfather, I thought of a very crucial question. Do you think him an illegitimate daughter? When my father went on a journey to train himself, he accidentally conceived me with my mother. He was afraid that you would be angry, so he pretended to have found me while on a mountain. Grandfather, I might be your biological granddaughter. This is impossible. Your father is a clean person, why would he lie to me? Yun Xiaotian retorted unhappily. Grandfather, but the ancestors of the Yun family can't lie, right? Since this black bead cannot recognize an outsider as its master, yet it recognized me as its master now, which means that I am a member of the Yun family. Or am I actually eldest uncle's biological daughter? Eldest uncle was afraid that eldest aunt would be angry, so he asked my father and mother to adopt me. Yun Xiaotian felt that his old heart was about to collapse. Although he felt that it was ridiculous, how could he explain what was happening in front of him now? Could it be that little Jiu was really his biological granddaughter? Chapter 847, Established a Tripartite, This. Little Jiu, perhaps your great-grandfather has misremembered something. Your uncle and your father are not the kinds of people to abandon their wives and children. Yun Xiaoshan's old face flushed red. Could it be Chang Xian or Chang Qing? No, those two had always been clean and pure. How could they do something like abandoning their wives and children? Yun Chujiu pouted. Grandfather, is it possible that I'm the descendant of you or great-grandfather? Little Jiu. How dare you? Yun Xiaotian was so angry that he couldn't care less about the presence of outsiders. He took off his shoes and was about to beat Yun Chujiu up. You little bastard. I thought you had changed, but you're still as stubborn as ever. Baiming, get out of the way, I must teach her a lesson today. Yun Xiaoshan's old face was flushed red. It was obvious that he was really angry. Little Jiu. You should be careful about what you say. Why aren't you apologizing to Senior Yun? Although Di Baiming said it very seriously, he had unintentionally blocked Yun Chujia's small body. Yun Chujiu hid behind Di Baiming and poked her little head out. Grandfather, I was just asking, why are you so agitated? If it's not true, then it's not. How do you think I made this broken bead recognize me as its master? How would I know? Maybe this broken bead is also equally eccentric. You two have that in common. Yun Xiaotian was obviously very angry. Hee, grandfather, don't be angry. You adults don't remember the past, but grandfather is very broad-minded. What I said just now was just a hypothesis. Our Yun family is upright, how could we do something like abandoning our wives and children? I'm just spouting nonsense. It might be a side effect of losing too much blood. My head is a little dizzy. Yun Chujiu covered her head, then she leaned on Di Baiming, looking weak. Seeing Yun Chujia's weak appearance, Yun Xiaoshan's anger simmered down. He quickly asked, Little Jiu, are you alright? Do you need anything? Quickly eat some blood-nourishing pills. Di Baiming helped Yun Chujiu sit down on a chair where she rested for a short while. She stole a glance at Yun Xiaotian and saw that his anger had subsided, only then did she weakly say, Grandfather, there is another possibility. Perhaps my ancestor is also a member of the Yun family but from another branch. After a long time, he has become unfamiliar with our branch. Perhaps thousands of years ago or tens of thousands of years ago, we shared one ancestor. Yun Xiaotian nodded. This explanation is more reliable. This would explain why you were able to make the black bead recognize you as its master. So what do you plan to do with this black bead? This is a harmful thing. I'm going to break the contract with it. I don't want this blood-sucking bastard. Yun Chujio stared at the black bead on the ground and said fiercely. Yun Chujio had just finished her sentence when, before anyone could react, the black bead suddenly flew up and directly disappeared into Yun Chujio's forehead. Fuck! Get out of there! Yun Chujio did not pretend to be weak this time. She jumped up from the chair and lowered her head, shaking it vigorously. Little Joe, it's useless for you to shake like that. You need to use your spiritual sense to break the contract. Di Biming rubbed his forehead. Could it be that this person had become beautiful at the expense of her intelligence? Yun Chujio then used her spiritual sense to look inside, then she sat on the ground and howled, "Woo! That damned black bead actually went into my dantian." Originally, it was the strange grass who was the dominant one. Then, it was the great void mirror and the strange grass who each occupied half the space. Now, another occupier has arrived. Fuck, they've established a tripartite. Chapter 848, might be something amazing, what? The black bead also went into your dantian. Di Biming finally reacted. Even if a weapon spirit was contracted to someone, its main body would not enter its master's body. However, the black bead just now directly went into little Jio's forehead. That was not normal. Yun Chujio sat on the ground and pursed her lips, she wiped away her tears and said, "That's right, that damned black bead was enjoying the thunder and lightning in my dantian. Woo woo, I originally planned to use the thunder and lightning to cultivate, but in the end, it was all absorbed by this damned black bead. This is my dantian, not a hotel. So many of them came in uninvited. This is infuriating." Di Biming helped Yun Chujio to a chair and comforted her, "Since it has acknowledged you as its master, it probably won't hurt you anymore. Wasn't the Great Void Mirror in the same situation in the beginning? Didn't it end up helping you out of certain situations?" Yun Chujio recalled the situation with the Great Void Mirror. Damn it, if it wasn't for the strange grass, she might have been sucked dry as well. None of them were easy to deal with. However, although the strange grass and the Great Void Mirror were unreliable, they were still somewhat useful. This damn black bead was like a black glass ball, what use could it be? Other than sucking her blood and devouring her lightning, all it did was eat. Yun Xiaotian stood at the side regretfully. If he had not insisted on letting little Jio take care of the black bead, none of that would have happened. He was the one who had harmed little Jio. Yun Chujio was very shrewd. When she saw Yun Xiaoshan's expression, she was afraid that Yun Xiaotian would get angry. She quickly said, "However, nothing can be said for sure. Perhaps this black bead will help me in the future. Since it was passed down from the Yun family's ancestors, it must be of some use. Grandfather, I took advantage of it by accident. Are you still angry with me?" Yun Xiaotian was also a wise old man, so he naturally understood that Yun Chujio said this because she was afraid that he would blame himself. He sighed. "Little Jio, why would grandfather be angry with you? If grandfather didn't insist that you take care of the black bead, why would all these things happen? Grandfather has let you down." "Grandfather, what's the phrase?" "Yes, it's fated. This black bead is fated to be mine, so it will end up in my hands sooner or later. Besides, no matter how much of a bastard it is, it wouldn't dare to kill its master." Yun Chujio said with a smile, it was as if the person who was crying earlier was not her. Yun Xiaotian was about to say something when the light in the room started to dim as if it was suddenly cloudy. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that this black bead was really something important? Was that old bastard Tian Dao going to play his hand again? Yun Chujio walked to the door and took a look outside. Indeed, dark clouds were gathering in the distance. From the looks of it, there was a sizable amount of them. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Grandfather, I suddenly remembered something very, very important. I'm going back to the Spirit Radiance sect. I'll come back to see you in a few days. The people I brought back are my subordinates. They'll be staying in our Yun mansion for the time being. Please help them settle down. Seeing that Yun Chujio did not seem to be lying, Yun Xiaotian hurriedly said, then hurry up and go. Leave the matter of settling them to grandfather. You don't have to worry about it. Yun Chujio nodded. Prince Charming, call Brother Wuji. Well, return to the Spirit Radiance sect immediately. Di Baiming saw the gathering dark clouds and understood Yun Chujia's intentions. He asked Feng to go to the living room to inform Shui Wuji and his servant. The five of them then quickly left for Spirit Radiant City. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.